Chapter 908. Mr. Lin, I don't know anything. I'm just in charge of taking photos. The little assistant was obviously panicking. She quickly grabbed Lin Mu An's arm and said, I'm just getting paid to do my job. What photos were taken? Lin Mu An pushed her away and asked calmly. The little assistant was a little flustered and hesitant. She lowered her head and waited for a long time. It seems that you're still not afraid enough. Lin Mu An didn't want to force the little assistant. Show me now and I promise I won't do anything to you. But if you plan to continue resisting like this, I won't force you. But when I want to settle the score, don't blame me for being ruthless. The little assistant suddenly raised her head and waved her hand. No, Mr. Lin. I'm sorry. I know I was wrong. With that, the little assistant immediately dug out the photos on her phone and handed them to Lin Mu An. These are the ones. Lin Mu An took the phone and flipped through it for about 2 minutes. There was unconcealable anger in his eyes. Who did you send these to? Only one person. The person who asked me to buy the photos. The little assistant immediately explained in fear. Mr. Lin, I'm sorry. I was out of my mind to do such a thing. I'm really sorry. Give me that person's contact information. Lin Mu An deleted the photos one by one and then used an authoritative tone. The little assistant's forehead was covered in cold sweat. She could only take back her phone and find that person's contact information. This person came to me a few days ago and asked me for Miss Lu's schedule. He knew that Miss Lu would come to try on dresses yesterday, so he asked me to take photos of Miss Lu. I don't know what method he used to make Miss Lu faint. He just asked me to control the time. Other than asking me to take photos, he didn't care about anything else. Lin Mu An got this person's contact information. The corners of his mouth were already very cold. Just pretend that you don't know anything. I didn't come to you and you didn't give him up. You should understand what I'm saying, right? Of course, the little assistant understood. After all, she didn't want to get into trouble. She knew that she was already lucky today. If she had met someone like Xing Xiao, her whole family would probably have been lost. Don't worry, Mr. Lin. I won't tell anyone. I definitely won't. The little assistant shook her head like a rattle. You're doing this for money. I wonder how you feel when you need money. After saying that, Lin Mu An left the wedding dress shop with the dress. Then, he went to the hospital and got Lu Qianqian's examination report from last night. The report showed that there were traces of the sedative triazolam in Lu Qianqian's urine. As a man, how could he endure seeing his beloved being hurt like this? Lin Mu An's expression was very ugly, but when he returned to the Lu family and saw Lu Qianqian baking cakes at home, his mood eased a little. Tomorrow was the engagement ceremony, but the photos had already been leaked. Even if they could be cleared up, he knew that the photos would definitely hurt Qianqian to a certain extent. This was unavoidable. What was the use of being her man? Lu Qianqian looked at Lin Mu An through the glass with a complicated expression. She put down her gloves and walked out. Did you find anything? Ask Vice President Qin to come over in the afternoon with the employee list and contact information. Lin Mu An put down the dress in his hand and hugged Lu Qianqian. Since you found it, there's no need to be unhappy. Lu Qianqian comforted him and used her fingers to smooth his furrowed brows. In the afternoon, let's see who this person hiding in the Lu Corporation is. After Vice President Qin's comparison in the afternoon, they finally came to a conclusion. Lu Qianqian's secretary usually worked as Lu Qianqian's assistant's assistant. Actually, it wasn't difficult to guess. At the very least, this person had to be close to the higher-ups to know Lu Qianqian's schedule so well. In order to know the result earlier, Muchichi asked Su Che to send her directly to the Liu family. Seeing Song Buji's series of tricks in the middle, she felt that it was ridiculous and helpless. I really didn't wrong him to say that he's so petty. I'm afraid he's a transsexual. How despicable does a man have to be to come up with such a trick? I really want to find someone to blind that piece of trash. Muchichi couldn't control the anger in her heart when she thought about how those photos were in Songbuji's hands. The assistant in the wedding dress shop said that these photos were just taken from an angle. She didn't dare to go too far. This was also the reason why Lin Mu and could still comfort himself. I haven't exploded yet, but you guys exploded first. Liu Qianqian was calmer and calmer than before. It's time to make some preparations for tomorrow's engagement banquet. After Muchichi calmed down, she looked at the two of them and said seriously, it's such a big scene tomorrow. All the big shots of Jianchuan are here. We have to think of a way to fight back. We can't let that Song guy bully us so easily. First of all, the media is not allowed to enter an interview tomorrow to ensure that the news doesn't leak out. Secondly, we have to take down this traitor today. It's best if we get him to reveal Song Buji behind the scenes. If he dares to act rashly tomorrow, we'll expose his perverted actions and let everyone in Jianchuan see what kind of person the CEO of Yashang Group is. I'm just afraid that this traitor won't betray Song Buji, Lin Muvan said. If he doesn't betray us, can't we deliberately bite back? We'll throw out the evidence of him pretending to be ambiguous. Whether there's a confession from the traitor or not, it's all the same. Our focus is to protect Qianqian's reputation so that this dirty thing can't stick to us. Liu Qianqian looked at Muchichi and knew that she was anxious and angry. Therefore, she quickly comforted Muchichi. Pregnant woman, stay calm. I'm calm enough. If it were in the past, I would have exploded long ago. No matter what, there are too many unstable factors tomorrow, but we have to do what we can first. Lin Muvan, your grandfather is what Qianqian cares about the most. Do you want to tell him in advance? You decide for yourself. Tomorrow, I will also come out to express the Shen family's attitude. I don't want the Song family to continue harassing my friends and family. After Lin Muvan heard this, he nodded seriously. When I go back tonight, I'll inform the old man because we don't know how Song will appear. I've implicated you. Can you stop saying that? I'm willing to be implicated by you. Liu Qianqian couldn't help but hug her. As friends, there's no next life. If you were me, I believe you'd be the same. What else could Muchichi say? Chapter 909. At 3:00 in the afternoon, Liu Qianqian and Lin Muvan returned to the Liu Corporation together. Vice President Qin pretended as if nothing had happened and called Liu Qianqian's secretary into the president's office. Then, Liu Qianqian asked Vice President Qin to close the office door. Seeing this, the secretary was a little nervous. President, why did you call me in? How much did the Yashang Group pay you to betray me so easily? Liu Qianqian leaned against the desk, crossed her arms, and asked the short male secretary. President, I know you're going to say that there's a misunderstanding. Liu Qianqian turned around, picked up her examination report from the table, and threw it to the secretary. I've already asked my assistant. The glass of water I drank before I left yesterday was poured by you. Don't tell me that someone else intervened in the process. The secretary's expression was a little ugly, but his mental fortitude was not bad. He basically did not show any abnormalities. President Liu, this is just your guess. Where's the evidence? Do you know Xiao He from the wedding dress shop? Do you think I found you because I guessed it? Liu Qianqian raised her head and asked the honest-looking young man. I went to London, I went to the wedding dress shop, and Song Buji was able to appear in my line of sight on time. Was it all thanks to your surveillance? The secretary did not say anything. He lowered his head, and no one knew what he was thinking. You can continue to deny it. It doesn't matter. I can also choose to call the police and let the police investigate who gave me the sedative in my tea. You have to think carefully. If this matter is exposed, will you still be able to survive in Jianchuan in the future? I remember that I treated you well. Do you love money that much? Yes, I was the one who gave you the medicine, but it has nothing to do with the president of the Yashang Group. The secretary could not help but raise his head and answer impulsively. Did I say it was the president of the Yashang Group? I only said it was the Yashang Group. Are you confessing? Lu Qianqian caught the loophole in his words and immediately exposed him. My father left early. It's not easy to support the Lu Corporation, but I know some tricks. Moreover, you can continue to bear it because you have to understand that Zhongting is behind the Lu Corporation. The secretary's psychological defense was obviously broken by Lu Qianqian. At this moment, he was already sweating. But just based on what you said just now, it's fine as long as you admit to drugging him. At least you're guilty of intentional injury. With that, Lu Qianqian took out her phone and called the police. Boss Lu, I recorded it just now. Lu Qianqian shook the phone in her hand and continued to press it to her ear. Hello, is this the police? In an instant, the secretary's legs went soft. She immediately begged Lu Qianqian. CEO Lu, please, don't call the police first. I'll tell you everything I know. When Lu Qianqian heard this, she lowered the phone from her ear. You said it. Then she hung up and continued recording. The secretary had no choice but to explain the matter. I really didn't know that the other party was from the Yashang Group because I didn't know the people who contacted me every time. I found out from Brother Lang that every time I released the news, CEO song from the Yashang Group would appear around you. I guessed it too. Brother Lang was Lu Qianqian's assistant. This time, the secretary didn't lie. That drug was also given to me by the other party. Moreover, he told me to strictly follow the time and quantity he calculated. Other than that, I only communicated with Xiao He. Other than that, I didn't come. Why did you do this? Lu Qianqian asked this question very seriously because she did not treat her employees badly. What else could it be? Greed, the secretary explained with a bitter smile. I was afraid too, but as long as there's money, not to mention conscience, I can even sell my soul. Lu Qianqian spread her hands. I'm not in the mood to beat up a dog when it's down, especially for someone like you. At the engagement party tomorrow, can you clarify the facts for me? Yes, as long as you don't call the police, the secretary quickly replied. After tomorrow, get out of the Lu Corporation. From now on, don't appear in my sight before I lose my temper. And the photos, Lin Mu and reminded Lu Qianqian. I deleted them a long time ago. I deleted them completely. Trust me. The secretary didn't dare to act recklessly on this point. Then today, just pretend that nothing happened. If you attract the attention of that B*TCH from Yashang Group, a call to the police will be inevitable. The secretary knew the severity of the matter. He just wanted to get away as soon as possible. Moreover, the sooner, the better. Also, don't think about escaping if you don't want to become a wanted criminal. I'm sorry, CEO Lu. The secretary bowed deeply to Lu Qianqian and then left Lu Qianqian's office. It was similar to what he had imagined. As long as he produced the evidence and followed the clues, he would be able to find out that scum from the Song family. CEO Lu, you're too kind. Vice President Qin couldn't help but sigh at Lu Qianqian's way of handling things. The root of everything is that scum from the Song family. Why should I waste my energy on these people? He's already a person without a conscience. There's no point in torturing his body. At least I can vent my anger. I just want to kill that bastard song, Lu Qianqian hummed. From the beginning to the end, Lin moved and didn't interfere with Lu Qianqian's handling of the secretary because he had the same thoughts as Lu Qianqian. He was just a puppet that she had spent money to find. Even if he was tortured, he wouldn't be able to vent the anger in Lu Qianqian's heart. Alright, we still have a lot of things to do tonight. We still have to greet the media. Let's go. Lin moved and put the book back on the bookshelf and reached out to Lu Qianqian. In the evening, Mu Qiqi received a call from Lu Qianqian. The secretary had been successfully taken down, and the media had also been arranged. However, with so many guests at the scene tomorrow, it would definitely cause a commotion. Lin moved and still had to go back to the Lin family at night to give old Master Lin a heads up. Just thinking about this made Mu Qiqi feel uncomfortable. Therefore, after putting down her phone, she turned to look at her man. I really want to put this song guy on the dissection table and cut him a few times. I want to dig out his heart and study how evil he is. From another perspective, Song Buji's appearance might be an experiment between Lin Mu-hin and Lu Qianqian. Don't forget, old Master Lin has never acknowledged Lu Qianqian. I'm just afraid that he hates Qianqian even more. Xing Xiao didn't even turn his head. Thinking of old Master Lin's expression that day, he replied indifferently to Mu Qiqi, that's because you don't understand that old man. If I understand him, will he be able to put aside those stubborn thoughts and distinguish between being framed? Moreover, there will be so many guests tomorrow. Chapter 9-10. What do you want to bet? Mu Qiqi propped herself up and looked at Xing Xiao. Why don't I call you daddy on behalf of your son? Xing Xiao sat up straight and lifted Mu Qiqi's chin with a faint smile. I'll wait for you to call me daddy. Mu Qiqi's face suddenly turned red. Shameless. Women were always wary of fickle things. Old Lin had always cared about his reputation. Moreover, he had already gone back on his word once. There was no guarantee that he wouldn't go back on his word a second time. When Xing Xiao heard Mu Qiqi's soft words, his hand that was holding her chin suddenly tightened. Don't seduce me. Be good, okay? Mu Qiqi looked into Xing Xiao's eyes and knew that he was thinking about the word shameless. She immediately laughed. Old man, I'm not even 3 months old yet. You can't hold it in anymore. Xing Xiao held Mu Qiqi's chin and rubbed her thin lips back and forth. After 3 months, I don't have to hold it in anymore. Well, Mu Qiqi had to admit that her heart that was about to joke around was confused by him. She almost lost her bearings. That night, Lin moved and planned to go home according to their previous agreement. He wanted to give the old man a heads up first. After thinking about it, he was still worried about the old man's heart. But when he returned home, Lin moved and only saw his aunt. Looking for your grandfather. Aunt Lin put down her bowl and chopsticks and looked at her nephew. He went out to meet his friends in the evening and hasn't come back yet. Sometimes, he forgets the time. Aunt. Lin moved and sat down beside his aunt because he knew that the person who understood the old man the best in this world was his aunt. If something happens at the engagement party tomorrow and it makes the old man lose face, what should we do? Aunt Lin turned her head and looked at her nephew. The worst-case scenario is that the old man can't stand the stimulation and goes to the hospital. Aunt. I'm just teasing you. Aunt Lin smiled. Your grandfather has a stubborn temper and is especially inflexible. However, you shouldn't underestimate him because of this. Since you won't marry anyone but that girl from the Liu family and you're getting engaged tomorrow, there's nothing for you to worry about. Young people always have to experience some hardships before they learn that some things aren't easy to come by. After Lin moved and heard this, he felt more at ease. Thank you, Auntie. What are you thanking me for? Your happiness is also my wish as your aunt. Lin moved and looked at the time. It was 9 o'clock at night. If he waited until 10 o'clock and the old man was still not home, he would drive out to pick him up. At that moment, at the Jinfu tea house in Jianchuan, old Master Lin was drinking tea and playing chess with a few old friends. However, Song Buji had spent some effort to appear at the door of the old man's private room. Elder Lin, we meet again. When old Master Lin saw Song Buji, he knew that this person was ambitious. Before this young couple got engaged, or rather, when they got engaged, something big would definitely happen. He did not expect that his guess would really be right. Old Master Lin knew that he could not avoid tonight's incident, so he said to Song Buji, "If you have time, let's have a cup of tea together." "Sure, it's better to meet by chance than to invite you. I've wanted to invite you to tea for a long time." Song Buji made an inviting gesture. Old Master Lin said a few words to his good friend before going to the private room next door with Song Buji. After the two of them sat down, Song Buji poured tea for Old Master Lin in a gentlemanly manner. Old Master Lin looked at the teacup in front of him and could not help but smile. "Director Song, what news do you have to convey to this old man?" "Elder Lin, you've misunderstood. I don't have any news to convey, nor do I want to ruin Qian and young Master Lin's engagement banquet," Song Buji replied calmly. "Then you? Unaccountably solicitous. Qian and I are fated to part ways. It's not worth mentioning. However, I have an attitude. In the future, if Qian and young Master Lin get engaged and find out that they have a child, I hope that you can spare the child's life. If it's a child of the Song family, I will naturally bring him back to the Song family and not cause any trouble for the Lin family." Old Master Lin had to admit that Song Buji's words had ignited the flames of suspicion in him. However, he would not be fooled. Although that girl from the Liu family met unkind people in the past, ever since she got together with my brat, she hasn't had the time to be fickle. So, I don't really understand what you mean. Old Master Lin suppressed the anger in his heart and maintained his composure on the surface. "How do you know that she doesn't have it, Elder Lin? Do you have evidence?" "Evidence? Of course I do, but I don't want to take it out today." Song Buji sipped his tea, his smile impeccable. Old Master Lin immediately felt his blood pressure rise and his heart beat faster. Seeing that Old Master Lin's expression wasn't right, Song Buji naturally knew to stop while he was ahead. "Thank you for your tea today. We'll meet again another day." Old Master Lin didn't say anything because he couldn't bring himself to say it. From Song Buji's words, he was bound to cause trouble tomorrow. However, before he could catch his breath, Song Buji's figure had already disappeared from the door of the private room. Then, the waiter of the tea house noticed Old Master Lin and leaned on the table uncomfortably. "Old man, are you all right? Please get the medicine for me and make a call for me." When Lin moved and received the call, it was already 9:45 p.m. He had originally planned to go out, but he didn't expect the old man to take the initiative to call him. Soon, Lin moved and drove to the entrance of the tea house. Seeing the old man's ashen face, he immediately realized that something had happened. The old man got into the car and didn't say anything. Even after entering the house, he still didn't say a word. "Grandpa, what's wrong? Just say it." Lin moved and followed behind him and placed the car keys on the coffee table. The old man turned around and glared at Lin Muhan. "Are you sure you're the only one from the Liu family? Grandpa, did you see someone you shouldn't have?" Lin Muhan was almost instantly sure that someone had stirred up trouble in front of the old man. "Don't worry about it. Grandpa, I don't want to argue with you about this a second time," Lin Muhan answered seriously. "I believe in my woman. Old Master Lin took a deep breath and finally nodded. I hope you won't regret it. Lin moved and didn't know what the old man meant by that, but he guessed that the old man had most likely seen the B*TCH from the Song family when he went out. Also, if anything embarrassing happens in the family in the future, don't blame me for turning against you. Hearing this, Lin moved and knew the seriousness of the matter. With a plop, he knelt in front of Old Master Lin. Chapter 9:11. From Lin Mu-Han's words, the old man seemed to know something. Does that girl have anything to do with that man from the Song family? Nothing at all, Lin Mu-Han explained again. Then why does that Song guy refuse to let her go? He's the CEO of the Yashang group. Is there a need for him to do this? If there's no real emotional entanglement, why would he come looking for me again and again? Grandfather will soon know what kind of person he is. Lin Mu-Han knelt on the ground and lowered his head to answer the old man. The old man snorted. Since you know that someone will cause trouble tomorrow, then pay off tomorrow's debt tonight. Just kneel here. Yes. Lin Mu-Han did not resist. Because he knew that the old man would definitely feel embarrassed tomorrow. Therefore, he wanted to let the old man vent his anger in advance so that he could be mentally prepared. Soon, Lu Qianqian called him. However, Lin Mu-Han did not tell Lu Qianqian that he was kneeling as punishment. He only comforted her. Sleep early. Nothing happened tonight. Don't be nervous. Grandfather, you're not unhappy, right? Lu Qianqian was still concerned about the old man's mood. No, Lin Mu-Han answered directly. That's good. See you tomorrow, handsome bridegroom. After saying that, Mu Chi-Chi kissed the phone. I'm still waiting for Chi-Chi to come and accompany me. Okay, bridegroom. After saying that, Lin Mu-Han hung up. Actually, thinking about it, it was a little sad. It was already the night before the engagement, but the old man was still unhappy. When Aunt Lin went out, she saw her nephew kneeling in the living room. She could not help but go to the old man's study. Dad, you should stop. That's because you don't know what I heard outside today. The old man snorted angrily with his hands behind his back. What about your daughter? Back then, that scum came looking for her and made a scene. If my father-in-law was like you, brooding over the matters of his children and grandchildren and not trusting his own family, your daughter's life would be very difficult. After hearing this, the old man did not say anything. Because he felt that he owed his daughter. That kid, Mu-Han, asked me what if he got into trouble tomorrow. He was worried that your body wouldn't be able to take it tomorrow. If he's really heartless, why would he care about your feelings? What kind of woman does he want to marry? What can you do to him? The old man turned around and opened his mouth, but he couldn't find the words to refute. In any case, I only have one sentence for you. Do as you see fit for your grandson's happiness. After saying that, Aunt Lin left the old man's study and went to the living room to help Lin Mu-Han up. Do you want to hold the engagement ceremony with Lu Qianqian in a wheelchair tomorrow? It's okay. Just stand there. I'll take care of your grandfather. Grandpa Lin followed him out. Seeing that Lin Mu-Han had already stood up, he turned around and returned to his room without saying a word. Thank you, Aunt. You'd better have something big happen tomorrow, so that the old man's mood can go through ups and downs and be tortured. Lin Mu-Han smiled and held his knees as he returned to his room. He didn't know what that Song fellow had said to the old man to make him, who had already dispelled his suspicions about Qianqian, full of doubts again. Of course, if he could even do something as despicable as drugging someone, one shouldn't expect him to be a gentleman. Naturally, the ugliest words and the most vulgar stories could all be made up in front of the old man. Tomorrow, it was supposed to be the happiest day, but he actually had to stay up late. Thinking about it, it was really a sweet burden. Late at night, Song Buji had already finished showering and was sitting on the sofa drinking red wine alone. What he said tonight had already hinted that Lu Qianqian and him were having a sexual relationship. However, there was no news from the Lin family that old Master Lin was going to break off the engagement with the Lu family. They were really tolerant. Of course, he also hoped that old Master Lin would be able to hold on. After all, he still had to send the huge photo to the venue tomorrow as an engagement gift for the newlyweds. He just didn't know if old Master Lin's body would be able to hold on. It would be best if he couldn't. This show would immediately be as exciting as it could be. If unfortunately, it didn't matter. He didn't believe that Lu Qianqian and Lin Muhan could still get engaged as if nothing had happened. Now that he thought about it, tomorrow's scene would definitely be very exciting. Because she was afraid that Lu Qianqian would be nervous tomorrow, Mu Qiqi specially applied to Xing Xiao to sleep with Lu Qianqian at the Lu family's house tonight. Although Xing Xiao had verbally agreed to it, his face was very ugly when he sent Mu Qiqi over. Think about it, ever since he got together with this thing, when had his arms ever been empty? But tonight, this thing was actually going to sleep with her best friend. And she was even bringing his child. Don't be so stingy. Qianqian doesn't have any sisters or good friends. This is the only thing my family can do for her. There's no need to explain. Just because he understood didn't mean that he was happy. Don't eat anything. Fifth aunt will bring breakfast over tomorrow morning. Got it. Mu Qiqi nodded obediently and raised 3 of her fingers as if she was swearing to the heavens. Xing Xiao didn't look at her again. He sent her to the Lu family's house. When he saw Lu Qianqian coming out to welcome him, he turned the car around. Your big CEO isn't angry, is he? Lu Qianqian was shocked by Xing Xiao's attitude. Ignore him. The two of them looked at each other and smiled. They hurriedly entered the bedroom and rolled on the bed. You're getting engaged tomorrow. How are you feeling now? I'm nervous. Lu Qianqian touched her chest and said. Moreover, she was very nervous because she didn't know what would happen tomorrow. I'm sorry for implicating you. I already told you, there's no need to apologize. No one can separate me and Lin Muhan. It doesn't matter if his grandfather believes me or not. I will only recognize Lin Muhan. The only thing I'm worried about is whether that old man's heart can take it tomorrow. After Mu Qiqi heard this, she felt even more uncomfortable. If old Master Lin is really affected by this, it's also because of our Shen family. At the thought of this, Mu Qiqi wanted to do one more thing. Because old Master Lin and old Master Shen were good friends, perhaps he would be more confident if she let old Master Shen do the work. However, I believe that evil can't suppress good. Look, how many obstacles have you passed? I believe that I can also get through it. What do you rely on when you walk in the pugilistic world? Righteousness. Lu Qianqian patted her chest. Mu Qiqi was immediately amused. Song, you're lucky to meet me and get pregnant. Chapter 9:12. At 11:00 in the evening, Xing Xiao took a shower and went to bed. Seeing that the seat beside him was empty, he could not help but scoff softly, somewhat self-deprecatingly. Usually, the moment he went to bed, he would be pestered, hugged, and touched. Today, there was no one beside him. This kind of difference would not have been felt if someone was around on a normal day. Forget it. Xing Xiao lay down by himself, but he could not fall asleep no matter how he tossed and turned. In fact, Mu Qiqi, who was in the Lu family, had started to regret it ever since Lu Qianqian fell asleep. What happened to being a part of her family? However, the person lying beside her was not Xing Xiao, so she could not touch him at any time. Her heart ached and she missed him. So, in the middle of the night, she took out her phone and sent a text message to Xing Xiao. Xiao Xiao. Are you asleep? Xing Xiao saw it. Who cares about you? You were the one who wanted to go out to sleep. Alright, then I'll sleep too. Xing Xiao glanced at her again and replied slowly, What time is it? You're still holding your phone. I actually want to go home. Why don't you come and pick me up? I don't want to get up, Xing Xiao answered directly. Mu Qiqi rolled her eyes. She did not believe that this man could get used to it. Where did he learn to be so arrogant? Then I'll take a taxi myself. The man on the other end of the phone was silent for 3 seconds. Then, he replied unhurriedly, Get dressed and wait for me at the Lu family's door. Mu Qiqi put away the phone and got out of bed quietly. Although Lu Qianqian was indeed excited about the engagement banquet tomorrow, she had been very deep after falling asleep. Even after Mu Qiqi left the room, she did not wake up. 20 minutes later, the black Bentley stopped at the Lu family's door. Mu Qiqi saw her man as she wished and blushed a little. It's not because I miss you. It's because I don't like the bed. Then shall I move the bed over for you? Xing Xiao looked at her unhappily. Mu Qiqi snorted and did not say anything. After returning home and lying on the bed as she wished, she felt satisfied, especially with Xing Xiao lying beside her. That sense of security made her sleepy. Perhaps it was out of habit, but Mu Qiqi subconsciously reached out to hug Xing Xiao's waist. The man sulked for a while and looked down at the hand on his waist. He immediately felt that he was very unfamiliar just now. A man in his 30s was actually controlled by such a thing. Without you, I can't sleep well anywhere. Mu Qiqi murmured in her sleep. After the man heard this, he turned around and reached out to take the pregnant little woman into his arms and encircled her peacefully in his arms. The next morning, the sky was blue. Lu Qianqian got up and put on makeup, but she did not see Mu Qiqi on the bed. After looking around the house, Lu Qianqian became anxious and finally saw the note on the dressing table. I'm suffering from insomnia. I'm going home to sleep. I'll come back tomorrow morning. Lu Qianqian breathed a sigh of relief and laughed out loud. This person had said that he wanted to sleep with her last night. What happened in the end? She could not leave her big CEO's side at all. After that, Lu Qianqian welcomed the makeup artist into the room, and Mama Lu woke up early to prepare for her daughter's engagement party. However, during the makeup process, Lu Qianqian thought that the Song family might come out to cause trouble today, so she gave her mother a warning in advance. Mommy, that Song person might embarrass you and Grandpa Lin at the engagement party. At that time, no matter what you see, don't be angry, because we'll take care of it, okay? Got it. Mama Lu nodded, but her eyes couldn't help turning red because she thought of her husband. If he hadn't left in a hurry, he might have been able to see what her daughter looked like in her wedding dress. Mommy, okay, Mommy understands. Today is your big day. Mama Lu turned around and wiped her tears. Lu Qianqian knew that she was sad and couldn't bear to provoke her anymore, so she changed the topic. Mommy, I'm a little hungry. Before I go out, I want to eat the breakfast you made. I'll go now. Lu Qianqian turned her gaze back and looked at herself in the mirror. She was the bride-to-be today. All the big shots in Jianchuan would come to celebrate for her. However, she also knew that she would definitely be embarrassed and hurt today. Although she didn't understand why she had to be treated like this, she had never blamed Mu Qiqi from the bottom of her heart. At 8:30 in the morning, the Lin family's car stopped downstairs of the Lu family's house. Lin Mu En was dressed in a pure black handmade gown that wrapped around his strong physique. Because of his frequent training, his figure was even taller and more slender. Because he was often exposed to the sun and rain, the man's face seemed to have been sharpened, and his skin looked tougher and more masculine. Lu Qianqian stood on the second floor and watched. She was captivated by this man's formal attire. "Mommy, I'm here to pick Qianqian up." Lin moved and walked to Mama Lu and bowed deeply to express his gratitude. Mama Lu walked upstairs and held Lu Qianqian's hand. Lin Mu's eyes turned slightly red when he saw her wearing the dress he had personally customized. Because at this moment, Lu Qianqian was like a fairy in a painting. Her black hair was slightly curled and draped over her shoulders lazily. Her makeup was not too heavy, but very elegant. The makeup artist did not put her hair in a bun because she was already at the age of youth. Since a woman was at her most beautiful, why should she be given the aura of a young woman? Lin Mu's eyes were a little dazed until Lu Qianqian walked up to him. "Are you stunned? You look so good." Lin Mu could not think of any high-class adjectives in his mind now. The only word left was good-looking. "You look very handsome too." Lu Qianqian reached out and tidied his bow tie. "Then, let's go now." With that, Lin Mu held Lu Qianqian's hand. Because he was nervous, he was sweating a little. The place where the ceremony was held was on the lawn by the sea. At this moment, it was already in the sea of white roses. The roses that had been airlifted in the morning were exuding vitality. Soon, Old Master Lin, Aunt Lin, and Mama Lu appeared at the entrance of the hotel to welcome their respective guests. Jinchuan's media naturally would not let go of such a grand engagement ceremony. Previously, Lin Mu had already communicated with the media that today's filming was not allowed to be leaked during the ceremony. Otherwise, they would not be allowed to enter, and they would be held legally liable. Because of their identities, there was actually no need for such a scene. Such precautions were all to prevent songbougie. But at the same time, everyone knew that as long as the Song family wanted to cause trouble, no one could stop them. Chapter 9:13. At 9:00 in the morning, Mu Qiqi and the Shen family arrived at the hotel together. Sheng Xiao still had to go to Zhongting for a meeting first. After the meeting, he would come over directly. "Grandpa, chat with Grandpa Lin later. Don't let him get tired because of us." Before Mu Qiqi and Huang Yu entered, she reminded Old Master Shen, afraid that he would forget. Old Master Shen knew the seriousness of the matter, so when he entered the hotel to see his old friend, he pulled Old Master Lin to the side. "Old Lin, I'll take a minute of your time. It's also our Shen family who let you down and caused this disaster. I hope you won't blame that girl from the Lu family. She's really wronged." Old Master Lin glanced at Old Master Shen. "You're also here to speak on behalf of the child? What do you mean by speaking on behalf of the child?" "I don't want the Shen family's old grudges to implicate the children and grandchildren, especially since you have nothing to do with this matter. If your grandson and that girl from the Lu family are really ruined because of this matter, your old friend won't have the face to see you for the rest of his life." "Alright, I know what I'm doing. Come in and have a seat," Old Master Lin said. Old Master Shen sighed. He did not know how many people the Song family was going to implicate. No matter what, he would deal with it. Mu Qiqi quickly found Lu Qianqian and Lin Muhen. Thinking of how she had slipped away last night, she walked over guiltily. "Fairy, I'm sorry. I didn't accompany you for the whole night last night." "Forget it. Who asked you to be pregnant? If you really came out with dark circles under your eyes because you couldn't sleep, I might be punished by your president today." Lu Qianqian reached out and hugged Mu Qiqi. "You're so beautiful." "Of course." Lu Qianqian winked at her. It was such a good day, but because of the Song family, the mood was ruined. Muchichi felt very angry just thinking about it. As time passed, there were more and more guests. Muchichi was pregnant, so it was not good for her to stand all the time. So, she sat on the chair and waited for Master Xiao to come over. It was getting closer and closer to the engagement ceremony. She did not know what the Song family was planning. At 11 in the morning, Xing Xiao finished his work and drove from Zhongting to the hotel. But when he arrived, there were many guests, so he had to greet them. Muchichi looked at her man in the crowd and also paid attention to whether that Song trash would appear. Of course, subconsciously, she felt that Song trash did not have the guts. Moments later, Xing Xiao returned to Muchichi's side. Seeing her fidgeting, he held her hand in his palm. Don't worry. Look at Qianqian and Lin Muhan. They are so happy, but the happier they are, the more guilty I feel. Muchichi looked at the newlyweds in the crowd. If it were not for those conspiracies, Qianqian would be the happiest bride-to-be in the world today. It's useless to worry. What will come will come. Looking at the time, it was almost 12:00. Muchichi quickly perked up. You're right. What will come, but we'll also give Song Buji a counterattack. Xiao, I'll use this occasion to express our Shen family's attitude. Otherwise, that trash from the Song family will think that we're spoiling him. Xing Xiao held Muchichi's palm and did not say anything. Not far away, at the end of the floral carpet was the MC of the engagement ceremony. He was preparing for the opening ceremony. Distinguished guests, please take your seats. Our engagement ceremony is about to begin. The guests quickly sat down on the white chairs. There were hundreds of guests, all neatly arranged. Almost all of them were Jinchuan's distinguished guests. Now, let's welcome our newlyweds onto the stage. Hearing this, Muchichi temporarily let down her guard and turned to look at Lu Qianqian holding Lin Muhan's hand as they walked onto the floral carpet. At this moment, all the bright lights in the world shone on the two of them, making them especially dazzling. More importantly, they looked at each other affectionately and firmly. Soon, the two of them walked to the MC. Then, the newlyweds turned to face the guests, and their fingers were tightly intertwined. Lin Muhan held Lu Qianqian's hand and took the microphone from the MC's hand. Of course, he was a little nervous in front of so many guests. Thank you, distinguished guests, for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend my engagement banquet in Qianqian's and witness our engagement ceremony. Before the ceremony begins, I have a few words to say to my fiancé and my family. After saying that, Lin Muhan turned to look at Lu Qianqian and said, It's okay. I'll be here in the future. Then, he looked in the direction of Grandpa Lin and Auntie Lin and said, Please believe me, I will become a better person for you. His words contained two layers of meaning, and old Master Lin immediately understood what he was trying to say. Although he still had doubts in his heart, he had to admit that Lin Muhan had grown up after putting on his formal attire. He was no longer the young master of the Lin family. He was now a student of the police academy and was about to graduate to become a police officer. And this maturity was brought to him by Lu Qianqian. What about you, bride-to-be? Do you have anything in your heart that you want to tell your partner or your family? The MC asked Lu Qianqian. I believe in him. Lu Qianqian only said 4 words. The MC nodded, but he saw that the hand that was aimed at the newlyweds had quietly tightened. All right, in that case, let's begin the engagement ceremony now. People who loved each other could see the deep love they had for each other at a glance. The entire engagement ceremony was carried out in a warm and loving atmosphere. What surprised Muchichi was that the Song family did not cause trouble at the ceremony. Perhaps that scumbag, Song Chaoji, had found his conscience. Seeing that Lu Qianqian and Lin Mu had exchanged engagement rings, the MC invited old Lin to go on stage to give his blessings to his grandson and granddaughter-in-law. Old Lin stood up from the first row of seats and was about to walk to the stage when a guest noticed a huge poster on a ship not far away. The photo on the poster was the indecent photo of Lu Qianqian taken by the wedding dress shop's assistant. There were 6 or 7 ships, and they were all heading in the direction of the lawn. Was this the so-called evidence that the man surnamed Song was talking about? Old Lin's expression could no longer be described as gloomy. He almost lost his balance. It was Aunt Lin who immediately reached out to support him. If this was the so-called trouble that Lin Mu and was talking about, then this trouble was indeed the weight of an atomic bomb. What's that? Chapter 9:14. Lu Qianqian and Lin Mu turned toward the commotion and saw the huge poster behind them. In an instant, Lu Qianqian's face turned pale. Although the assistant had told her that the photos were not so shameful and ambiguous, and that she had only found a good angle to take them, when they were zoomed in, they looked so unrestrained. No wonder old Lin's face turned like that. This. Who's playing? The MC immediately tried to smooth things over and signaled the hotel security guards. Didn't they know how to deal with it when they saw the boat approaching? The guests looked at Lu Qianqian's posters and pointed at them. It was because everyone knew that Lu Qianqian had a miscarriage for another man in the past. They thought that she and the young master of the Lin family had a true relationship and had changed. They did not expect her to be so reckless. The scene suddenly became a little out of control. Most of the guests were watching the two families make a fool of themselves. At that moment, Mu Qiqi could not stand it anymore. She was about to get up, but the man beside her stopped her. Don't be anxious. Old Lin's face has changed. You can't make such a big joke. Calm down. Mu Qiqi held back her impulse and looked at Lu Qianqian. At that moment, Mama Lu stood up from the first row of the guest seats and walked in front of Lin Mu and Lu Qianqian. Then, she turned to face the guests. She bowed deeply and then said to the MC, "Can you send someone to take down all the photos on the ship? At the same time, find out who sent these gifts so that I can return the gifts in the future." The MC was stunned when he heard Mama Lu's words. He did not expect her to react like that. When a woman was released with such photos, her first reaction was not to cover up or keep the peace, but to confront it head-on. Lu Qianqian looked at her mother, and her eyes suddenly turned red. My daughter indeed had the misfortune of knowing a scumbag in the past. However, that's all in the past. Now, my daughter is innocent and upright. Since someone has sent a gift over, we can figure out what exactly is going on. My husband passed away early and it's true that there's no man in the Lu family. But, as a mother, I'm still around. As long as I'm around, I won't allow anyone to bully or humiliate my daughter. So, today, I will clarify everything in front of Elder Lin. It was said that a mother was strong. Lu Qianqian's eyes reddened when she saw her mother standing up for her. Old Master Lin's expression also softened. This is a man who understands the big picture. Mommy, there are men in the Lu family. No matter what, I believe in Qianqian. Lin Mu immediately held their hands, expressing his stance. Things were really strange. It was obvious that the bride-to-be had been exposed in such a photo, but the Lin family was not angry at all. Soon, the MC returned to everyone with the posters and told Mama Lu, "Madam, the captain doesn't know where these posters came from. He only knows that someone said they were going to give them to Miss Lu for her engagement, so that she wouldn't forget the kindness of the past. You don't even dare to show your face. How can you talk about past favors?" Mama Lu sneered. It was precisely because the other party refused to show up that there was no one to confront him. Who is the person who sent the photos? Yeah, what's going on? At this point, the Shin family had to step forward. Otherwise, it would be impossible to explain things clearly. Therefore, Muchichi stood up from the guest seats and said loudly, "Now, it's time to call the CEO of the Yashang group." Everyone was even more puzzled when they saw Muchichi step forward. What did this have to do with the CEO of the Yashang group? Muchichi walked in front of Lu Qianqian and looked at her firmly. "With us here, we won't let you suffer." Everyone must be very confused. What does this matter have to do with the CEO of the Yashang group? It has a lot to do with it. After saying that, Muchichi looked at Xing Xiao. Master Xiao remained calm and gave Su Che, who was waiting at the door, a look. Then, Su Che led his people onto the floral carpet. She was the assistant of the wedding dress store manager. She lowered her head guiltily when she saw such a big scene. "Xiao He, why don't you tell everyone where these photos came from?" These photos. Raise your head and tell everyone loudly." Muchichi's voice was sonorous and powerful. She did not have her usual cheeky smile. The assistant quickly raised her head and explained, "I secretly took these photos of Miss Lu when she fainted while trying on the dress in our store. At that time, she was in the changing room of the wedding dress store. Miss Lu didn't know anything when she fainted." "Why did Qianqian faint for no reason?" Muchichi continued to ask. Because someone drugged Miss Lu. Someone wanted to frame Miss Lu so that she and Mr. Lin couldn't get engaged." "Very well, I'll call the police." The assistant was stunned when she heard that Muchichi was going to call the police. "You said that as long as I clarify things, you won't call the police. When did I promise you that? You didn't keep your promise. You hurt my best friend. You caused her to be unable to be happy on her engagement today. Do you know that you might ruin someone's life by helping the wicked? You're talking to me about promises. Have some shame." Xing Xiao looked at Muchichi from below the stage. When he heard her angry roar, he knew that she was really angry. "You have to pay the price for doing something wrong. Of course, you're just taking photos. Su Che, bring the next witness." Then, Su Che brought the secretary of the Lu Corporation out. No one paid attention to the assistant's mood. Looking at the young man in front of her who was timid, Muchichi was even angrier. "Let me introduce him to everyone. This person is the secretary of the Lu Corporation. For money, he betrayed his company and his boss." "What exactly happened? Tell me the whole story." I was just blinded by greed and accepted money from the Yashang group. I was only responsible for giving them Miss Lu's whereabouts. I'm innocent. It was the other party who wanted to take indecent photos of Miss Lu. It was the other party. The secretary was very smart. She avoided the most serious part and pushed the blame to the Yashang group. "You just didn't mention that you drugged Qianqian, right?" Muchichi asked. "I'll take it that you tacitly agreed. So, now that the whole thing is connected, the people from the Yashang group want to ruin Qianqian and Lin Mu An's engagement, so they used all sorts of means to make everyone think that Qianqian is messing around outside and acting recklessly. But, why did the people from the Yashang group do this?" Muchichi turned her gaze to old Master Lin. Chapter 9:15. Old Lin received Muchichi's signal. Then, he pushed his daughter away and walked from the guest seat to the white carpet. At this moment, Old Lin's attitude was very important. "I'm truly sorry, everyone. Today, I, Lin, have lost face here. A perfectly good engagement ceremony has been ruined. I apologize on behalf of my grandson and granddaughter-in-law." Mu Chi-Chi heaved a sigh of relief when she heard the word granddaughter-in-law, because it meant that old Lin had acknowledged Lu Qianqian. Actually, a few days ago, the president of the Yeshang group, Mr. Song, hinted to me many times in the open and in the dark. He wanted me to misunderstand that my granddaughter-in-law, Lu Qianqian, has an unclear relationship with another man. Actually, I've been wanting to ask him this for a long time. Who do you think you are? Is it your turn to meddle in my family's affairs? If you have the ability, come out and snatch the bride right in front of me. I'll respect you as a man. I, Lin, have spent my entire life in the military. I've never been one to engage in crooked ways. What I understand is that this Mr. Song likes my granddaughter-in-law, but he can't get her. That's why he wants to cause trouble at my granddaughter-in-law and grandson's engagement banquet. If you really like it, you can fight for it openly with my grandson. Hiding behind the scenes and doing such shady things is really despicable. What photos? Miss Shen has already clarified for my granddaughter-in-law. I hope that everyone will not misunderstand my granddaughter-in-law's character. I only hope that Mr. Song can respect himself and pursue women to such an extent. It can be seen how dirty and dark the corporate culture of the Yeshang group is. Since today is my grandson and granddaughter-in-law's engagement banquet, as a grandfather, I also hope that they can always work hand in hand in the future without fear of any difficulties. Especially against those jackals, wolves, tigers, and leopards, there's no need to be polite. Lu Qianqian looked at old Lin, Mama Lu, and Mu Chi-Chi who were standing in front of her. She could not hold back her tears anymore. She could understand her mommy and Chi-Chi, but she did not expect Grandpa Xing to be completely on her side and trust her. Seeing that her eyes were red, Lin moved and smiled. Are you silly? You're the silly one. I'm just touched. I really didn't expect that your grandfather, I didn't expect that either. So, he thought of what his aunt had said last night. Don't underestimate Grandpa. Indeed, he did not dare to underestimate him in the future. What happened just now, I hope that everyone will treat it as a small interlude and let it go. I believe that young people will cherish their relationships more when they experience storms. A sumptuous lunch awaits everyone. I hope everyone can enjoy it to the fullest. Now, everyone knew that Song Buji from Yeshang group liked the young lady of the Lu family. He couldn't get what he wanted and did despicable things because there were many big shots in Jianchuan present, as well as rich people involved in education and finance. After hearing about these things, how could they still cooperate with Song Buji? Because the old man was right. A leader represented the corporate culture. If Song Buji was such a despicable person, then they would not be willing to cooperate with such a leader. No, he was not worthy of being a human at all. This was old Master Song's original intention. He wanted everyone to think that Song Buji didn't want to bring up the grudge between the Shen family and the Song family. It wouldn't be good for anyone. Then, the guests went to the luncheon restaurant one after another. At this time, Lu Qianqian gently hugged Mu Chi-Chi and Mama Lu and walked to old Master Lin. Grandpa, I'm sorry. Also, thank you. It's not your fault, old Master Lin replied. Old Master Lin replied, although I did suspect you, deep in my heart, I was more willing to trust you. You and that brat have also gone through so many hardships. It's all thanks to you that he's so mature now. I believe that only a positive person can make a person positive and brave. So, don't be afraid in the future. If there's anything, explain it to Grandpa. Grandpa will definitely believe you. Yes, I just feel that I've embarrassed you. How am I embarrassing? Isn't the one who's embarrassing himself that scum? Old Master Lin's expression softened and he smiled. Grandpa's move to divert trouble isn't bad, right? You're going to scare me to death. Old Master Shen walked over and patted his old friend on the shoulder. I was almost afraid that you wouldn't be able to hold on and fall. It's all because of the Shin family. We've been friends for decades. Why are you still talking about this? The grudge between the Shin family and the Song family shouldn't be put on the table. If there's any debt, we can settle it slowly in the future. The two old men chatted and laughed as they headed to the luncheon hall together. Seeing this, Mama Lu heaved a sigh of relief. You'll be lucky in the future. Let's go and thank the guests. Mommy, you're like a giant today. You don't have a father, but Mommy can't be bullied by you. Mama Lu stroked Lu Qianqian's hair. Silly child, Xiao Qi is still angry at you when she's pregnant. I know you all love me. Let's go. Lin Mu and hugged the two of them, one on each side. Today's a perfect day. On the stage, Xing Xiao went over and hugged his thing. However, he felt that there was something wrong with her expression. Master Xiao, I haven't vented my anger because I didn't humiliate that scum in front of him. I'll give you this chance, Xing Xiao answered without thinking. But you have to listen to me for 2 days. Are you serious? Mu Qiqi's eyes immediately lit up. In 2 days, there will be an education lecture at Yashang Group. Song Buji will be attending the lecture to talk about his entrepreneurial history. He's trash. He's not upright, yet he's still doing education. I feel ashamed for him. Mu Qiqi snorted coldly. Then get me a ticket. I'm going to settle the score. Today, this thing doesn't dare to show up personally. He only knows how to play dirty tricks behind my back. I'm going to face him head on. Don't go overboard. Xing Xiao pinched her nose and instructed her, but his eyes were filled with affection. If he didn't let her vent, wouldn't that be harmful to the pregnant woman's body and mind? Moreover, he had already let the Song family be arrogant for long enough. Su Che sent the two accomplices to the police station. As for the media, because they had signed a confidentiality agreement, they would not report on a large scale what happened at the banquet today. They would only publish photos of the newlyweds hugging each other happily. The old master wasn't really embarrassed. In short, the main goal today was to completely pull the Lu and Lin families out of the quagmire of the Song and Shin families. Old Master Lin's words could be considered to have achieved his goal. He had saved the face of the Lin and Lu families. But did he think that it was over? Mu Qiqi secretly remembered it in her heart. Song scum, just you wait. In 2 days, I'll let you enjoy the same treatment as Qianqian today. Chapter 9:16. The following luncheon went very smoothly. There was a ball in the afternoon, and the guests were overflowing with excitement. They had already found their own dance partners. Lu Qianqian changed into her attire and shuttled between the guests with Lin Muhan. However, one could tell from the smile on her face that although she was exhausted, the corners of her eyes were brimming with happiness. Mu Qiqi was very glad that scumbag Song's plan did not succeed today. If there was a slight deviation, she could imagine what kind of tragedy would happen today. Perhaps sensing her lingering fear, Xing Xiao held her hand and said softly, "It's all in the past. There's no need to think too much. If he dares to cause trouble for Qianqian and Lin Mu and in the future, I won't let him go. He won't. He's already invested too much energy in Lu Qianqian. That's not his main goal. There's no need for him to waste his time." Xing Xiao analyzed Song Buji's thoughts to Mu Qiqi. In any case, I'm holding back my anger today. I have to give that scumbag speech a big gift in 2 days. It's about time. It's time to go home. We still have to go for a prenatal checkup. Xing Xiao looked at his watch and reminded the little one. Got it. I'll go say hello and we'll leave. Mu Qiqi got up from the dining table and walked to Lu Qianqian. I won't be accompanying you in the afternoon. Enjoy yourself. I'm going for a prenatal checkup. Lu Qianqian looked down at Mu Qiqi's lower abdomen. Is it showing a little? I think so. Don't be jealous. Mu Qiqi looked smug. Lu Qianqian glanced at Lin Mu Hen and smiled. I'm not envious. I can give birth myself. Anyway, thank you for today, Qiqi. There's no need for such pleasantries between us, right? In 2 days, I will avenge you. Mu Qiqi reached out and hugged Lu Qianqian again. She warned Lin Mu Hen, if you don't treat Qianqian well, I'll definitely let you have a taste of how Master Xiao treats people. Lin Mu Hen looked at Lu Qianqian affectionately. Mu Qiqi had goosebumps when she heard Lu Qianqian's words. Actually, I'm actually quite grateful to that man surnamed Song. Because of him, Mu Hen's grandfather was able to completely let go of his prejudice against me. This could be considered a blessing in disguise. Alright, I know you're the happiest today. Mu Qiqi could not stand the two of them continuing to show off their affection. She was sore all over. Let's go. Lu Qianqian watched as Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao left, keeping all her gratitude in her heart. Only Lin Mu Hen could understand that her life was already very complete to have such a close friend like Mu Qiqi. That was because there were a lot of people who would go through water and tread on fire for you, but when it really came to the time of need, they would disappear. However, there were some people who would definitely stand up for you at the critical moment of danger. Such a person was Mu Qiqi. Let's go. It's time to dance. Lin Mu Hen reached out to Lu Qianqian. Qianqian, trust me. I'll treat you well. It was a love that had seeped into his bones. What else was there to not believe? Saying all this was too shallow. In the afternoon, Xing Xiao accompanied Mu Qiqi to the hospital for a prenatal checkup. In just a month, the little thing in her belly already had a basic outline. Mu Qiqi lay on the bed and looked very excited, but Xing Xiao's expression was a little strange. What? He's a little ugly now, but you can't dislike him. Xing Xiao glared at her and scolded softly, nonsense. Then what's your reaction? CEO Xing, this is the reaction of most new dads. Women can't quite understand that kind of emotion. It's just, there's a very magical feeling and a sense of pride. The doctor looked at the couple and explained for Xing Xiao with a smile. Is that so? Xing Xiao coughed lightly as a tacit agreement. Then, he helped Mu Qiqi up from the bed. The baby is developing very beautifully. You don't have to worry at all. It's very stable. Of course, even though it's already 3 months old, you still have to be careful not to have any intense exercise. Actually, the doctor was hinting at sexual intercourse. However, it's not a problem to be appropriate. Thinking about a man like Xing Xiao, if he abstained from sex for 10 months, how could he endure it? Therefore, while Mu Qiqi went to the bathroom, the doctor gave Xing Xiao a lot of advice. Of course, most of it was about what kind of position was suitable for a woman to not hurt the child after she was pregnant. When Mu Qiqi returned, the two of them had already finished talking. She only felt that the atmosphere between the two of them was a little strange, but she did not ask in detail. Let's go. I'll send you home. What did the doctor say to you just now? Mu Qiqi asked after she got into the car. Xing Xiao's expression did not change as he drove. We were discussing what kind of position will not hurt you and will make you comfortable. When Mu Qiqi heard that, she immediately blushed. You're still asking the doctor about this? The doctor took the initiative to tell me. I can't possibly refuse, can I? There was a faint teasing look in Xing Xiao's eyes. You could try it tonight. Actually, it's not impossible. You've been enduring it for months. Am I the one who wants it or are you? Xing Xiao did not forget that when this person lay on his chest, he would always sigh. Why had his abdominal muscles become bigger again? Sometimes, he would even covet his chest muscles. Mu Chi-Chi ignored him. She just thought that she would be able to resume her normal married life at night and comfort her baby in her heart. There was no other way. She also missed this man very much. She would just treat it as the baby greeting its father in advance. Song Buji had been waiting for a good show all day, but in the end, what he waited for was a golden boy and jade girl. He had clearly arranged so many good shows, but they did not play out as he had imagined. The seed of suspicion had clearly been planted in old Master Lin's heart, and the photos had been sent in the most conspicuous way. But why? In order to understand the engagement banquet, Song Buji arranged for his assistant to go over to understand the situation. In the end, the assistant replied on the phone in fear, "CEO Song, that, now everyone in the noble circle knows that you were the one who framed Miss Liu. Because you couldn't get her love, you used despicable means to destroy other people's marriages. I found out from the media. They all claim that they are very shameless for your behavior, so they will definitely not help you create hype and destroy other people's marriages. Alright, you can come back now." After saying that, Song Buji hung up the phone and threw it aside. The smile on his lips was playful because he did not expect that the drama he had spent so much effort to arrange would come to an end just like that. In the end, he had suffered a double loss. However, it was precisely because of this that Song Buji's desire to win was aroused. Chapter 9:17. Of course, he would not spend any more time on Lu Qianqian. Just as Xing Xiao had said, that would be a waste of time. Instead, he would turn his attention to Mu Chi-Chi and Xing Xiao. What an interesting couple. Especially Mu Chi-Chi. How could he miss such an interesting woman? Moreover, although what happened today did not go according to his script, Lu Qianqian and the others should not have had a good time when it happened. Being able to make others unhappy was the greatest pleasure he had ever felt. Of course, he did not know that Mu Chi-Chi would give him an unexpected gift 2 days later. Late at night, the lively engagement banquet was over. Lu Qianqian and Lin Mu and drank some red wine when they returned home from the engagement banquet. When Mama Lu saw this, she helped them back to their room. She wanted them to have a good sleep. However, when Lin Mu opened his eyes and saw his beloved fiancée beside him, he pressed himself on Lu Qianqian's body and kissed her crazily. Lu Qianqian was aroused by him. She hugged him and the two of them rolled on the bed. They took off all the gowns and suits and threw them under the bed. Although it was not a wedding night, it was still a very memorable day. So, neither of them controlled themselves. The frantic kissing and the electric caressing made the atmosphere in the room completely ignite. Lin Mu hugged Lu Qianqian from behind and took as much as he could from her body. Qianqian. Qianqian, I'm here. Lu Qianqian was deeply immersed in lust and could not extricate herself. Actually, I don't want to be engaged to you at all. Lin Mu turned her over and hugged her tightly in his arms. I want to marry you directly. I want you to become my real wife, my Mrs. Lin. You're too good. I'm afraid you'll run away. Lu Qianqian was about to cry as she listened. When you graduate, we'll register our marriage immediately. Okay. Lin Mu seemed to be at ease. He finally stopped his crazy possession and became gentle. We want to be together forever and never abandon each other. Lu Qianqian nodded shyly. She did not dare to look down. Okay, then, the two of them immersed themselves in another round of entanglement. The night was long. Some people were enjoying the night, while others were wearing silk pajamas and lying on the bed, feeling conflicted. In order to seduce the man, Muchichi deliberately took out her black pajamas. However, the man just did not look at her. Master Xiao, yeah. Xing Xiao sat on the sofa, his eyes focused on the documents. Do you think I've gotten fatter? Xing Xiao said without looking up, you've put on weight. Muchichi was annoyed. She rolled her eyes and asked, how do you know? You'll know once you touch it. Xing Xiao continued to bury his head as if he did not understand the little thing's hint. Go to hell. Muchichi threw the pillow at him and it hit his back. Don't talk to me tonight. I'm going to sleep. You should have gone to bed long ago. Muchichi lay down and did not plan to continue talking to this man. But in just 2 seconds, she was hugged from behind. Muchichi's expression softened, but her anger did not dissipate. Is it fun to tease me? I'm just wondering. We've been together for so many years. Why don't you just say what you want? Why do you have to hint and be shy? Muchichi turned around. Her face was as red as a ripe apple. Girls should have some sense of shame, okay? Do you need it for me? Xing Xiao snorted. This person was used to being shameless. It was only at times like this that she knew how to be reserved. I can't just shout at you, Xiao Xiao, let's go to bed. We're here to do something shameful. How embarrassing would that be? What if you reject me? After hearing this, Xing Xiao's eyes deepened. He looked at Muchichi and said seriously, I rejected you. You heartless thing. That's true. You knew what I wanted to do just now, but you pretended not to know. Master Xiao, you've become bad. Muchichi poked Xing Xiao's strong chest with her finger. I've always been like this to you. With that, Xing Xiao carried Muchichi and walked from the bedroom to the bathroom. What? I just took a shower. The doctor suggested that you try not to press down on your abdomen. Do you understand? Xing Xiao placed her on the floor and placed a towel on the sink. Then, he carried her up. Moreover, I saw that little thing today. It's only the size of a palm and it's so fragile. If I go in, I'll definitely hurt it. Are you so sure? Muchichi frowned as if she was recalling something. You know very well. Xing Xiao's eyes were filled with lust. It was not strong because he was suppressing it. Muchichi immediately stopped talking. Of course, she knew his size. Then, do you want it or not? Do as I say, After Xing Xiao instructed, he hooked his arm around Muchichi's neck and sealed her chattering thin lips. He had been abstinent for 3 months. Sometimes, words would be aroused by this thing, not to mention being hugged by her every day and being taken advantage of by her. How much of a test of a man's endurance was that? An hour later, Xing Xiao carried Muchichi back to the bedroom. The blush on Muchichi's face had not completely subsided. She could only snuggle up to Xing Xiao and bury her head in his chest. Where did you learn all this? Health class. Muchichi was speechless. She was impressed. This man had specially learned this kind of knowledge just for this moment. Can you sleep now? Muchichi leaned against Xing Xiao and did not move. She hummed softly. Xiao Xiao, when I give birth, my figure will be out of shape. There will be stretch marks. When that time comes, I won't even dare to show them to you. Fifth aunt knows how to treat you. Also, Mom has already prepared essential oil to prevent stretch marks for you. What are you afraid of? What else could Muchichi say after being spoiled like this? She could only hug Xing Xiao tighter because people were so strange. The happier they felt, the more frightened they were. They were deeply afraid that one day, all the good things they had today would disappear in an instant. What if I don't have you one day? Don't assume things that won't happen. After saying that, Xingxiao covered Muqiqi with a white blanket. Then, he held her head and said, "Aren't you tired? Sleep." "I'm tired, Xiao Xiao." Muqiqi closed her eyes and mumbled. Chapter 9:18. Hearing the word daddy, Muqiqi's eyes suddenly widened. She raised her head and looked at Xingxiao. "You still remember this, I'll admit defeat." Xingxiao stared at her head and said, "But if I call you daddy, then, won't the one in my stomach call you grandpa? Won't my daddy call you brother?" Xingxiao saw that she was about to go back on her word, so he said teasingly, "There's a way to call me daddy. It doesn't mean anything, but it's just to liven things up." Muqiqi was stunned for a moment. She punched Xingxiao's chest. "You like this? This is a bet. I'll remember it. I'll return it to you next time." Muqiqi did not resist anymore. Since it was a bet, of course she had to abide by it. "Don't go back on your word next time." Speaking of her father, Shen Jianchuan had been in Luohai for so long, but there was no news of him at all. She did not know how he was doing. Did he have any conflict with Xingkai? Muqiqi was angry when she thought of this. The Song family was fanning the flames everywhere and doing things that angered both humans and gods. They really felt that they were taking revenge and enforcing justice on behalf of the heavens. In 2 days, she would teach Song Buji how to be a person. The next morning, not long after Muqiqi woke up, old Master Shen called and said that Elder Lu had disappeared. He was happy yesterday and drank at the Lin family's house, so he slept soundly. Who knew that when he woke up in the morning, the old chief would be gone? "Grandpa, don't worry. Maybe he just went out for a walk." "Shao Qi, you don't know this person. He must have gone back to Luohai for his sons. I'll call your father now and ask him to stop him. If anything happens, the doctor said that he won't be able to get them back." At this moment, old Master Shen hated himself for being careless. He had thought that after these days of persuasion, this person should have thought things through. Who knew that he was still thinking about his unfilial descendants? "Grandpa, everyone has their own fate. Perhaps Grandpa Lu still wants his son by his side. Don't force yourself too much. He's really stubborn and can't think things through." With that, old Master Shen hung up. On Shen Jianchuan's side, because of the matter with the 3 children of the Lu family, he was already exhausted. If Elder Lu were to return at this moment, then everything that the Shen family had done would be in vain. During this period of time, he had seen Xingkai in Luohai, but he did not have the chance to talk to him. Shen Jianchuan did not know why the Xing family had such a crooked seedling. It would have been fine if he was just doing some crooked business, but he was working for the Song family, who treated human lives like grass. Sometimes, when he thought about it, he always felt that it was a pity. After that, Shen Jianchuan received a call from old Master Shen. However, he did not receive any news at all. Because he had expected Elder Lu to act on his own, Shen Jianchuan had sent people to pay attention to Luohai's movements. If Elder Lu returned, he should be able to know immediately. "Dad, you're not sure where Elder Lu is right now. Don't worry. If he comes, I'll definitely receive the news and I'll do my best to stop him," Shen Jianchuan replied over the phone. "I can only look around. Jianchuan, I have a bad feeling about this. Dad, there are some things that you can't control. We can only do our best." Shen Jianchuan comforted the old man. Shen Jianchuan felt a headache coming on when he thought of the 3 nouveau riches from the Lu family. If it were his children, he would have dragged them down with him. Even if they were rescued now, they would not know what it meant to repent. Who knew, they might even become worse. It was no wonder that elder Lu was so angry that he was sick. Originally, at his age, as long as his children and grandchildren worked hard, he would not be in such a miserable situation. These days, Xin Kai and Song Qiaoji had been dealing with Shen Jianchuan in Luohai. Thinking of her dead fiancé, she could understand Shen Jianchuan's feelings at this moment. It was all because of the Song family. Ah, Kai, you. Could it be that you're really planning to help my father achieve this? The Lu family is now living a life worse than death. Xin Kai was sitting at his desk dealing with Changrong Electronics business. When he heard Song Qiaoji's question, he sneered. If I don't win his trust like this, do you think he will really trust me? I just don't want you to become an executioner with blood on your hands. Then, you'll be no different from my father. Song Qiaoji sat on the bed and tidied up her clothes. There was a dim look of disappointment in her eyes. Xin Kai turned to look at her. He got up and hugged her. Of course, I also hope that this matter can come to an end, but not now. We don't have any evidence of your father's crimes in our hands. We don't have any room to struggle because I know that he's just using you as a tool. If we're all useless, then the Lu families today will be our tomorrow. I'm sorry. Song Qiaoji turned her head and apologized. I shouldn't have dragged you into this. This is a bottomless abyss. I chose to walk in on my own. After I came in, I realized what it means to take one step at a time and what it means to walk on thin ice. Now, I can feel Eighth Brother's feelings when he was managing Huang Yao. Only after calming down did I realize how much time I wasted on meaningless things in the past. Don't worry. I don't want to be ruthless. I'm just doing it for your father. It's been hard on you. Perhaps, this is what Eighth Brother said about me, my special strength. Xin Kai shrugged. However, even if we didn't do anything, the three scourges of the Lu family probably wouldn't have lived for long. They're troublemakers to begin with. But you shouldn't have done it. In the end, the responsibility will fall on you. Xin Kai thought for a moment and smiled faintly. Perhaps, the first thing he had to learn from Song Jiang was how to avoid responsibility. Of course, he didn't mean the kind of responsibility that he should shoulder, but he had to learn to plan for the future. I've done a lot of wrong things too. If that day really comes, I deserve it. Xin Kai didn't avoid this point. No, we'll all live to escape the Song family's control. After saying that, Song Qiaoji reached out and hugged Xin Kai. He was an old man in his 50s who was seriously ill. Now, he had 3 sons who refused to change despite repeated admonition and an ex-wife who had endless desires. What else could he want to do when he was on the verge of death? He wanted to return to Luohai, see his wife, and settle some family matters with his own hands. As for the Song family, he could no longer care about them because he knew that the Shen family would settle this matter with the Song family. Right now, he only wanted to see his wife and son. Back then, he was a scout. Even though so many years had passed, it was still more than enough for him to avoid the spies. Shen Jianchuan didn't get any news of the old man, but the old man had indeed returned to Luohai and had an apartment by the sea. Chapter 9:19. It was only then that Shen Jianchuan received the news. The old man had called his ex-wife and children home. It was obvious that he was going to make arrangements for his funeral. Therefore, he immediately inquired about the old man's residence by the sea, afraid that the old man would do something that he would regret. The eldest of the Lu family's 3 sons was about the same age as Shen Jianchuan. But looking at the children of the Shen family, and then looking at his own 3 children, the old man sat on the sofa in the living room with tears of regret in his eyes. He was indeed not a good husband, nor was he a good father. The three children thought that their backer had returned, so they quickly went to the old man's apartment. His ex-wife, naturally, also went to the apartment full of anger. However, when the four of them arrived at the apartment, the old man's expression was very calm. "Sit down and wait for me to make a will. I won't live for long anyway." Hearing that their father was going to make a will, the brothers could not hide the excitement in their eyes. Of course, the ex-wife also revealed a rare smile. "You old fart, you've finally thought it through. Why don't you think about who will clean up your mess after you leave? You've been cleaning up the family for your entire life, but you haven't been able to clean it up." The few of them did not notice that the old man was wearing the military uniform that he had worn after he was discharged from the army. Because of his deformed figure, the military uniform looked a little loose on him. "Dad, you're about to die. Hurry up and tell us about these things so that we can send you off." "That's right, Dad. It's hard for you to suffer like this." "Dad, I'll go get a pen and paper." "Why don't you say it and we'll write it?" These were his three sons. Even if one of them had his hand cut off because he went to flirt with someone else's woman. But when it came to a will, he could still write it. The old man sneered and then said slowly, "I have nothing to regret in this life. The only thing I regret is marrying you and giving birth to them." The ex-wife was stunned for a moment and thought that he was funny. "You're about to die and you're telling me this now. Before you came, I had already planted explosives in this house." The old man did not look at his ex-wife and only calmly told the four of them, "Since we're a family, no one will leave here today. This house is my will to you." When the four of them heard this, they were shocked and looked at each other. "Dad, are you joking?" "Whether I'm joking or not, won't you know if you listen carefully? I'm ashamed to have given birth to the three of you. You're worse than beasts. I'm thinking, if I die, who will clean up your trash in the future? In any case, you won't be able to live long if you go out. Isn't it better to die by my hands?" The few of them immediately stood up and pricked up their ears to investigate. The atmosphere was also extremely tense. "Dad, are you joking? We are your sons. I'm leaving. I don't want to listen to your nonsense." The ex-wife immediately stood up, but as soon as she walked to the door of the living room, she was blown back by the explosives at the door. There was a loud bang. Homemade explosives, the power is not bad. Seeing their mother fall to the ground, the three men immediately knelt in front of the old man and begged, "Dad, please spare us. We're still so young. We don't want to die. Gambling, lecherous, fighting, you'll end up like this sooner or later. Don't beg for mercy today. Come with me." The old man did not give in at all. "Dad, no, we'll change. Really, we'll all change." "Change?" The old man looked at his sons and sneered. "Do you believe it yourself? We'll cut off our hands and swear." "Dad, don't be so ruthless. We're all your sons. But you've always treated me as your ATM, your money tree. When have you ever treated me as your father?" The old man looked at the three of them seriously and asked. "After I die, you will also be sought for revenge. Instead of that, it's better to end it now. Dad, we were really wrong. Really, let us go, let us go. I've given you too many chances to turn over a new leaf, but you didn't cherish them. It's because of you three beasts that I'm in this situation today. I don't want to indulge you anymore. I don't want you to harm others anymore. They're just three beasts. What's there to let go of?" The old man asked very seriously and solemnly. "All of you, come with me. Dad." After spending some time, Shen Jianchuan finally found out where Elder Lu lived by the sea. He immediately brought his men over. However, when he arrived, the old man was sitting on the sofa with his eyes closed. He looked very peaceful. His 3 sons were locked in the room and all of them were unconscious. Shen Jianchuan called the police. Elder Lu had passed away because of his serious illness. As for his 3 sons, they were just frightened. Of course, his ex-wife was really injured by the explosion and was sent to the hospital. In the end, he could not do those illegal things. However, he left a will for Shen Jianchuan. Jianchuan, in the end, I can't kill these bastards with my own hands. But today, I've taught them the most important lesson in their lives. My wish has been fulfilled. I have no regrets even if I die. Your Shen family, don't bother about these bastards anymore. In the yellow envelope are all my movable and immovable assets. All these years, I've not been willing to give them to these beasts to squander. Help me find a medical or educational institution and donate them all. I know that your father is a person who values relationships and righteousness. But don't carry the burden of other people's lives on your shoulders. I'm already so old. What else can't I see through? I'm sorry, Jianchuan. The grudges of the previous generation have implicated you juniors. But I'm afraid that I'm powerless to untie this knot. I can only rely on you. Think about it, life is just a drop in the ocean. I don't regret coming here and getting to know your father's brothers who are worth befriending. Farewell, my little nephew. After Shen Jianchuan finished reading the letter, he felt very upset. Then, he helped the old man lie on the sofa so that he could sleep comfortably. Then, he took the letter into the bedroom and looked at the beasts whose hands and feet were tied up. Your father has left. When the 3 of them heard this, their reaction was actually a sigh of relief. Shen Jianchuan thought that he did not need to bother himself with these people anymore. He only said, your father left behind 3 properties and tens of millions of yuan in savings. But his will has already made it clear that he will donate all of these things to the medical and educational industries. You won't get a single cent. In the future, no one will care about you. The Shen family won't care about you either. This means that whether the Song family wants to kill you or put you in prison, I won't help you anymore. I'll wait and see what happens to you. In a few days, the Shen family will help your father with his funeral. At that time, I don't want to see you. I'll beat you up every time I see you. Chapter 920. After old Master Shen knew that the old general had passed away, he sat by the fish pond and stayed there quietly for the whole afternoon. Although old Master Lu's illness was the result of accumulation over a long period of time, the Song family's attack had intensified the conflict between the father and son of the Lu family. In the end, the old general, who had been in the military all his life, was forced to die. Old Master Shen always wanted to do something, but he was already gone. No matter how much he did, he could not save a life. After Mu Qiqi left the Jianchuan branch office, she went straight to the Shen family. Your grandfather has been sitting like this for the whole afternoon. He must have suffered a lot. He is usually stubborn and doesn't listen to anyone. He only listens to you. That's why I called you and asked you to come over. Huang Yu pointed at old Master Shen who was sitting by the fish pond and said to Mu Qiqi. Everyone has their own fate. Thinking about the past, if Shenlin also became like this, I would be so sad. Speaking of this, second aunt has to thank you again. It's all in the past. Isn't it good for Shenlin to be in the army now? Mu Qiqi comforted Huang Yu. Then, she lifted her dress and walked toward Grandpa Shen. The mosquitoes by the fish pond have been fed by you. Old Master Shen turned around and saw Mu Qiqi. He sighed. Why are you here? Grandpa, it's not that I want to criticize you, but you really don't understand Grandpa Lu at all. He fulfilled a wish and passed away so peacefully, without any regrets in his heart. Perhaps this is the best release for him. You should fulfill his choice and not be entangled in this kind of thing. How can I not know what he is thinking? But how can I not be angry when the Song family is involved? I know that you don't want the villain's evil plan to succeed, but Grandpa, don't forget that we still have a long time ahead of us. Since ancient times, evil can never win over good. The Song family will be dealt with by us sooner or later. Why are you in such a hurry? Think about it, the Song family has been dormant for more than 20 years. How many days have you endured? Old Master Shen looked at the clever girl beside him and could not help but laugh. You always find all kinds of fallacies to comfort people. How am I fallacies? Cheer up. In 2 days, I will go to Luo Hai with you to mourn Grandpa Lu. Moreover, there will be a good show tomorrow. Girl, what do you want to do? With your grandson-in-law watching, nothing will happen. Don't worry. After saying that, Mu Chi-Chi leaned on Grandpa Xing's shoulder and said, Grandpa, do you know how many bodies are found in the police station every day? The youngest of those cold corpses was probably just a baby in swaddling clothes. Compared to that, I think there must be something in Grandpa Lu's life that he felt was worth it. He has gone to Elysium, so you really don't have to be sad for him. If you continue to wear that face, your great-grandson might not be happy. It had to be said that when this girl tried to persuade people, she was really able to come up with a bunch of fallacious arguments. But it just so happened that it was very useful to her. Grandpa Shen had no choice but to shake his head and admit defeat. I'll go eat now. Is that okay? If you're still like this tomorrow, I won't come to see you anymore. You're threatening me. The old man was unhappy. However, he still left the fish pond obediently and asked the kitchen at home to prepare some dinner. When Huang Yu saw this, she gave Mu Chi-Chi a thumbs up. As expected, the most precious granddaughter had to step in. Eighth brother is here to pick you up. Go back. Mu Chi-Chi nodded and lifted her dress to leave the Shen family's courtyard. At that moment, Xing Xiao was standing at the entrance of the Shen family's courtyard, under the plaque of the Shen mansion. When Mu Chi-Chi saw the man's slender figure, her gaze unconsciously became a little greedy. Especially when Xing Xiao turned around, Mu Chi-Chi felt her heart stop. Xing Xiao was very familiar with this kind of gaze. After so many years, she still looked like she wanted to eat him up. When she had a crush on him back then, she didn't bother with any pretense. The two of them held hands and returned to the banyan courtyard. Mu Chi-Chi thought of Song Buji's speech tomorrow and quickly asked Xing Xiao, have you prepared the tickets for me? Are you worried about Su Che? Xing Xiao turned to ask her. Of course not. It's just that when I was persuading Grandpa at the fish pond just now, I was actually even angrier than him. Qianqian's anger was hard enough to swallow. In the future, there will be many opportunities to fight with the Song family. There's no need to be in a hurry. Don't worry. I forgot to tell you that the venue for Song Buji's speech tomorrow is under the Xing family's banner. Mu Chi-Chi knew that the man beside her could bear a grudge for several years, but she couldn't. If she was the only one who felt bad, then she definitely couldn't tolerate it. Tomorrow, I'll let Song Buji test my power. I'll let Su Che follow you tomorrow. She was pregnant, so of course Mu Chi-Chi wouldn't refuse. After the Song family heard the news of Elder Lu's death, they opened champagne at home late at night to celebrate. Song Jiang was especially happy. If your dead grandparents knew about it in the underworld, they would be happy. Of course, that's not enough. After a while, send the Shen family down to kowtow to them and admit their wrongs. Song Buji's expression was a little numb. How much affection did you give him for his family that he had never met? That was impossible. Ah, Kai did a good job. When he and Xiaoji returned to Jianchuan, treat him better, Song Jiang instructed. In the future, I have more important tasks for him. If I were Xing Kai, I wouldn't leave any of the Lu family's brothers alive, Song Buji said ruthlessly. What about what I told you to do? How's it going? You still have the face to talk about others. Song Jiang snorted coldly. I think if I count on you to get Muchichi, I might have to wait until I die of old age. Games have to be played slowly. How boring is it to achieve your goal from the beginning? Song Buji shrugged indifferently. If you show your trump card to the Xing family now, you won't have to wait for the change of office. You'll be directly dealt with by Xing Xiao. You'd better be really confident. Sometimes, Song Jiang couldn't see through his son. What kind of tricks was he playing? Song Buji took a sip from his goblet. His gaze was indeed on Muchichi. However, in the face of such a highly intelligent woman who was dead set on Xing Xiao, he didn't know what to do with her in a short period of time. He couldn't just brush her off casually. In a few days, when that old man surnamed Lu is buried, I'll find a few people to pry open his grave so that his bones won't be left. That way, I'll have an explanation for Grandpa, Grandma, and Aunt, right? Song Jiang nodded. That's a good idea. When the time comes, I'll give that old fart of the Shin family the same treatment. Chapter 921. The next day, Song Buji held a huge speech at the Immerse Center on the difference between Chinese and Western education. He wanted to further expand Yeshang Group's reputation in the education industry and also sell his famous work, 10 Things Parents Must Know About Educating Their Children. He was the kind of person who played the role of a beast and an angel at the same time. Muchichi woke up early and asked Su Che to send Xing Xiao to Zhongting first before sending her to the venue of the speech. She saw many of Song Buji's famous works in the speech center. Muchichi took one and held it in her hand. The speech was held at 10 in the morning. At this time, Muchichi saw many parents leading their children into the hall. There was no lack of elderly people bringing their grandchildren to receive education. Su Che, how many people can this hall hold? 5,000, Su Che answered from behind Muchichi. In fact, he was protecting her. After all, she was pregnant, which made people even more vigilant. Muchichi was wearing a lavender mid-length dress today. She was sitting in the middle of the venue. If she didn't stand in the center earlier, how would she arrange a good show later? The seat was in the middle, but there was only a row of empty seats from the podium. There was an aisle in the middle. Muchichi raised her hand and tested the distance of the book in her hand. It seemed like she didn't need much strength. Soon, there was only one empty seat left. It had to be said that the Yeshang Group's ability to fool people was indeed remarkable. However, how could a person like him be worthy of education? Song Buji had no idea that Muchichi was also present today. He just enjoyed the excitement of being admired by others while acting like a demon. Every time he gave a speech like this, the sense of accomplishment he felt when he was admired by thousands of people below the stage was really exciting. Therefore, every time he gave a speech, he would deliberately wear a pair of black-rimmed glasses to make himself look more like an educator. He looks like a downright cultured scum. Muchichi couldn't help but say this. She was immediately glared at by the people sitting on both sides. After that, it was Song Buji's incessant speech. Every word he said sounded so inspiring. Our Yeshang Group has been engaged in education for 10 years. We've made very dazzling achievements abroad. Now, our focus has shifted and we've established an education base in Jianchuan so that more children can find their own way out. To tell you the truth, I used to be a complete slacker. But after a series of scientific studies, I am standing here. I believe that everyone has heard of Yeshang Group's name a long time ago. In the education circle, we represent the future. I can tell you responsibly that handing over your children to Yeshang Group's education is definitely the right choice. Mu Chi-Chi rolled her eyes. What era was it now? There were still people who drank such chicken soup. Mu Chi-Chi could not bear to listen to Song Buji's exaggerated account of his experience. Then, she saw a book fall at Song Buji's feet while he was talking. She took a closer look and realized that it was his book. The hall immediately fell silent, and Song Buji bent down to pick up the book. Everyone looked in the direction where the book had flown to. Mu Chi-Chi enjoyed the attention. She crossed her arms and looked at Song Buji. Song Buji followed everyone's gaze and suddenly saw Mu Chi-Chi below the stage. He had been too engrossed in his speech just now and did not notice that there was such a person below the stage. He did not expect Mu Chi-Chi to come over and confront him head-on. Mr. Song, I've been listening to your speech for half an hour. I really can't take it anymore. I'm sorry, can you let me ask a few questions first? Mrs. Sheng, thank you for coming. I'm sorry for not coming out to welcome you. Song Buji was not that stupid. He knew very well what Mu Chi-Chi was going to do on such an occasion. I'm just curious. What qualifications does a person who drugged a girl in order to pursue her have, to be an educator? I don't understand what you're talking about. Song Buji maintained his perfect smile and asked the security guards. Someone's causing trouble. Please get rid of them. Feeling guilty. I still have a big move on the media. I didn't have time to settle the score with you 2 days ago. Today, I'll join in the fun. Who are you? Why are you causing trouble? Our children are here to listen to the speech. The people around them looked at Mu Chi-Chi angrily, as if blaming her for ruining the good atmosphere. Are you at ease letting a beast in human attire who drugged people educate your children? Mu Chi-Chi asked with a smirk. You don't have any evidence. How do you know I don't have any evidence? In order to pursue a girl, this Mr. Song destroyed someone else's marriage, drugged a girl, and took indecent photos. These things have spread throughout the noble circle. I think that all of you here, as long as you verify it a little, you'll know whether it's true or not. Why should I joke around with you? The parents present were a little stunned. At this moment, the security guard walked in front of Mu Chi-Chi. Miss, please leave. I'm sorry, I really want to cooperate with your work. However, Mr. Song, when you were giving your speech here, did you find out who paid for the Enrich Center? Brother, do you want to ask your lady boss to leave? After the security guard heard this, he was in a dilemma and looked at each other. I understand. After all, Mr. Song has just arrived in Jianchuan. He might not be very clear about the Xing family's sphere of influence. This fully shows that the Yeshang Group's ability to do things isn't very good. You even rented the Xing family's venue. Everyone, I'm not here to interfere with your children's education. I quite agree with what you're doing. However, I'm here today to take revenge. How Mr. Song treated my friends, I'll return it all today. It doesn't matter if you don't believe me. Anyway, the media will reveal it later. I just don't want you to feel as disgusted as if you swallowed a fly. If you think that there's no problem with letting such an educator educate your children, just take it that my appearance today is just to settle a personal grudge. You can continue. As soon as Mu Chi-Chi finished speaking, parents were already leaving the venue with their children. After all, they just wanted their children to receive an education. Who wanted to take this risk? In a short while, there were only a few people left in the originally full venue. Song Buji was still standing on the stage. He looked at Mu Chi-Chi and asked, "There's no man in the Xing family. How can a woman like you face the challenge?" Chapter 922. The men of the Xing family are all busy. Maybe I'm more free. Mu Qiqi shrugged. I know your target is me, so I came over to greet you. Since we're going to fight, we have to get to know each other. I just want to cure your glaucoma. Don't vent your anger on just anyone. Song Buji took off his glasses as if to see Mu Qiqi more clearly. Although it's only the second time we've met, you seem to have become more beautiful. You're very handsome too. Mu Qiqi was not stingy with her praise. I'm here to settle the score with you for Qianqian and Grandpa Lu. We'll meet again. You don't seem to be afraid of me at all. Perhaps you haven't seen how ruthless I am. I have a problem. I become stronger when I meet someone strong. Go ahead and make your move. I'm not scared, so my legs won't go weak so easily. After saying that, Mu Qiqi turned around from her seat. I'm a little tired today. Su Che, send me home. Song Buji could not do anything to Mu Qiqi because he had seen many women, but none of them were like her. Life and death could not scare her. She specialized in being with corpses. Therefore, the things that ordinary women were afraid of were all ineffective against her. Her weakness was that she valued relationships, but the people around her were not easy to deal with. Song Buji touched his heartbeat. This was clearly the speed of meeting love. Facing Mu Qiqi, men would have the desire to conquer her. However, there was only one man in this world who could make Mu Qiqi willingly submit to him, and that was Xing Shao. Xing Shao. No, rather than saying that Mu Qiqi submitted to Xing Shao, it was more accurate to say that Xing Shao had single-handedly trained Mu Qiqi today. In the past, he had promised Mu Qiqi that he would let her do whatever she wanted in Jianchuan. After so many years, Mu Qiqi had done it. Madam isn't afraid of angering that man at all, Su Che whispered to Mu Qiqi on the way back. He won't be angered because the more easily a person gets angry, the easier it is for them to reveal flaws. Song Buji isn't that stupid, Mu Qiqi answered Su Che. I want him to focus on me. She didn't want to implicate anyone else. But you ruined his speech today. Will he let it go just like that? He can't do anything to me for now. Because he didn't know how to deal with it. Soon, the media in Jianchuan began to spread the news that Uncle Song had ruined someone's wedding 2 days ago. It was also rumored that he had drugged the other party's girl and taken indecent photos. This is consistent with what Mu Qiqi said in the Enrich Center today. Therefore, the education business of the Song family is bound to be neglected at this critical moment. It is hard for the parents to believe in a person with bad conduct. When Song Jiang found out about the news, he slammed the table in anger and called Song Buji. How do you do things? And now, the Xing family had something on them. Now the whole world is saying that you like a woman and can't get her. You even drugged her and took photos of her shamelessly. What have I taught you? You don't have to worry about my business. You should take care of your godson first. Song Buji refused to be disciplined at all. In fact, the father and son had different temperaments. Song Jiang wanted revenge and power. Song Buji only wanted to play in the human world. He had no desire for revenge at all. It was all the old thing's own decision. Buji, don't forget the great enmity of our Song family. That's just your great enmity. With that, Song Buji hung up on Song Jiang. Sitting on the chair, he listened to the various reports from the department manager, but his mind was all on Mu Qiqi. It was a pity that such a woman was now Xing Zhao's woman. Mu Qiqi had avenged Lu Qianqian and made Song Buji shoot himself in the foot. However, she still could not hurt the Song family fundamentally. They had prepared for too long and planned for too long. They did not know when they would be able to investigate by Sini's case, which was behind Song Jiang. Late at night, Xingxiao returned home and saw Muqiqi standing in front of the floor-to-ceiling window in a daze. He hugged her from behind. "Aren't you happy after taking revenge?" "What kind of revenge is this?" "Master Xiao, you know very well that this can't hurt the Song family. I can only anger that shameless father and son pair and give Qianqian an explanation." Muqiqi leaned back in relief. Of course, Xingxiao knew that. That was why he let Muqiqi do it and let her vent her anger. "In 2 days, I'll accompany grandfather to Luohai to pay his respects to grandfather Lu. Do you want to come with us?" "Together." With that, Xingxiao turned the little one around. "Don't meet the Song family alone in the future." "Why?" Xingxiao pinched Muqiqi's chin and leaned close to her eyes. "Because I'm very seductive. What's there to be afraid of? I'm only infatuated with you. It's fine if I don't know, but I don't want some unclean things to covet you under my nose." After Xingxiao said that, he let go of her chin. However, Muqiqi knew that this person was jealous. "Okay, I won't see you again. I won't see you again. You're such a petty man." "Ha!" Xingxiao raised his voice. Muqiqi quickly shut up and buried her head in Xingxiao's arms. As soon as old Master Lu died, Xingkai and Song Qiaoji were summoned back to Jianchuan. Xingkai did a very good job on this matter. In addition, Song Buji had disappointed Song Jiang, so his attitude towards Xingkai was even gentler than before. "You've contributed greatly to the destruction of the Lu family this time. Ah Kai, tell me what you want. I'll definitely satisfy you." Xingkai turned around and glanced at Song Qiaoji. "I don't have anything I want. I just want Godfather to hand Qiaoji over to me. I want to take care of her for the rest of her life." Song Jiang looked at Song Qiaoji. It was indeed a good arrangement for her to control Xingkai. "I told you before that if you want to get married, you should do it as soon as possible. I still want to have a grandson as soon as possible. Ah Kai, after you become the son-in-law of the Song family, I'll definitely make you 100 times more glorious than when you were in the Xing family. Qiaoji and I don't plan to have a big wedding. We just want it to be simple. I hope Godfather can fulfill our wish." "Alright, you're the hero. I'll do as you say." It could be seen that Song Jiang was very happy. At least, Xingkai had done something for him. It also proved that Xingkai was still useful. "But in the future, you have to be wholehearted to my daughter." "Of course." After Xingkai promised, he turned to look at Song Qiaoji. "Are you willing to marry me?" Now that things had come to this, the two of them were one. Song Qiaoji was naturally willing. She thought that if she had the chance to find evidence of Song Jiang's crime in the future, she and Xingkai could still live an ordinary life. Although it was just an extravagant hope for her now. "Although I don't want to have a big wedding, I want everyone in Jianchuan to know that we're married." Chapter 923. Yes, we have to let the people of Jianchuan know, especially the Xing family. Song Jiang was happy just thinking about it. The Xing family was his son-in-law and would do anything for him. "Ah Kai, let's see if you can be ruthless. I left the Xing family a long time ago. I'm not a member of the Xing family." Xingkai understood Song Qiaoji's goal. She wanted him to completely cut off his relationship with the Xing family and win Song Jiang's trust as soon as possible. "Good, that's great." Xingkai's reaction made Song Jiang very satisfied. "Then I'll find a suitable time to announce this news." Xingkai and Song Qiaoji looked at each other. In fact, there was guilt in Song Qiaoji's eyes. After all, Xingkai would have no relatives in the future. However, this way, he would be safer and wouldn't be restricted by her father. Therefore, on the way back to the apartment, Song Xiaoji couldn't help but apologize to Xingkai. I'm sorry. I didn't ask you before I made my own decision. This will happen sooner or later. I don't care. Xingkai appeared very calm. This is good for everyone. Ah, Kai, I only have you, and you only have me. No matter what happens in the future, I won't leave you, and I won't give up on you. Xingkai drove the car and turned to smile at Song Xiaoji. I know. Soon, the news of the two of them getting married spread throughout Jianchuan. The Song family had previously gone against Zhongting, and Mu Qiqi had gone to cause trouble at Song Buji's speech. There was clearly a grudge between the two families, but now, the Song family had announced that Xingkai was about to become their son-in-law. When old Master Xing found out about this, he was so angry that he almost went to the hospital again. Although he knew that Xingkai could not be saved, he still felt his heart ache when he saw this news and knew that Xingkai was going to acknowledge a traitor as his father. What a sin. The butler gave Xing Xiao a call. Of course, the job of persuading them now fell on Mu Qiqi's shoulders. After all, the two old men cared about her the most right now. The incident with old Lu of the Shen family was not over yet. Now that news about Xingkai had spread, Mu Qiqi felt that she needed 3 heads and 6 arms. Be that as it may, she rushed to the Xing family's house immediately. She walked with her little belly propped up. My ancestor, you are carrying my great-grandson. Walk slower. Mu Qiqi sat down on the sofa, her body steaming. Don't be depressed if you want me to be more comfortable. You're already so old, and I'm always worried. Didn't you call 8th brother? Why are you the one who came? Old Master Xing sounded very disdainful. Your 8th brother really knows how to slack off now. He knows that you're all on my side now, so he keeps an eye on me every day to deal with you 2 rotten old men. Who's on your side? The old man was lying on the bed, but he still didn't give in. I won't lower myself to your level. Old man, I'll talk to you about Xingkai. Since you've already let him go, just let him go. Don't keep holding on to him. What he wants is his own choice. He has his own pride. If the Xing family becomes the Song family's live-in son-in-law, then so be it. He can live by himself, so don't worry about it. It's not that Xiao Xiao couldn't drag Xingkai out back then, but he was unwilling. Since this is his choice, I think you should believe him. No matter whether it's right or wrong, he's already in his 30s. Can't he bear the consequences? You're anxious. What can you do if you go and ruin the marriage? It's useless for you to force a person whose heart is not with the Xing family. You have so many children and grandchildren. Just pretend that he was spoiled at an early age and turn a blind eye. Why make things difficult for yourself? Here, I'll give you the one in my stomach in a few months, okay? After hearing this, the old man leaned against the bed and did not speak. After a long while, he said, I just want to see him and ask him face to face if that's his sincere choice. The Song family is not a good place to stay. If you want to make things difficult for him, you can go. After hearing this, the old man was completely disappointed. How about this? If I have the chance to see him in the future, I'll ask for you. The premise is that you have to take your medicine and recuperate obediently. For some reason, the older he got, the more he behaved like a child. Both Old Master Shen and Old Master Sheng were like that. Although the two of them were not the kind of people who valued sons over daughters, at this age, they still felt that daughters and granddaughters were good and considerate. Okay, Old Master Xing agreed straightforwardly. Mu Qiqi comforted him and waited for him to fall asleep before leaving the Xing family. Now that 6th brother saw Mu Qiqi, he was much more polite. After all, he had no choice but to admit defeat. How many people in the family could control the old man now? She was the only one. Even eighth brother's words were useless. Mu-Chi-Chi returned home after running around for a day. When she saw Xingxiao packing their things, she immediately remembered that she was going to Luohai to attend Elder Lu's funeral. The old man is fine. He's just thinking. Thank you for your hard work, Xingxiao answered her as he packed his things. Actually, Xiao, I don't understand either. Why did Xingkai do that? Previously, in order to drag him out, Xingxiao had offered very generous conditions. He had even disregarded the past and allowed him to have dignity. However, he didn't want anything. Did he hate the Xing family that much? However, Mu-Chi-Chi didn't feel that Xingkai was aggressive towards the Xing family. This made her feel very strange. He has someone he wants to protect. You mean Song Qiaoji? When did these two people become so devoted to each other? Moreover, she couldn't understand Song Qiaoji. She couldn't tell if she was good or bad, but she felt that she had many secrets. After Xingxiao packed his things, he sat down on the sofa and waved at Mu-Chi-Chi. Mu-Chi-Chi sat down in Xingxiao's arms and wrapped her arms around his neck. Is there a possibility that Xingkai is a spy? Have you watched too many movies? I'll find a chance to meet someone. The Song family is already very difficult to deal with. Xingkai is involved. In the future, he will be involved in the Song family's matters. His hands will be stained with blood. Xingxiao didn't think that Xingkai had the guts to commit such a crime. Seeing the little thing in his arms moving around, he suddenly pressed down on Mu-Chi-Chi and whispered in her ear, "Can you call me Daddy tonight?" Mu-Chi-Chi was stunned. This man's bad taste came too quickly. You reminded me. I'll call Daddy and ask about the situation over there. After saying that, Mu-Chi-Chi got up, but Xingxiao stopped her. You want to run? Who said so? I'll go wash up first and wait for you. Really? Then go. Xingxiao let go of her playfully. He knew best what kind of tricks she was up to. However, he was happy that he had spoiled her like this. Chapter 924. In the end, it was unknown whether Mu-Chi-Chi admitted defeat or not. However, when the two of them came out of the bathroom, Mu-Chi-Chi's ears were still red. Xingxiao hugged her with a satisfied look on his face. He thought that Mu-Chi-Chi's encouraging words should have been in place. After returning to the bed, Mu-Chi-Chi immediately curled up under the blanket with her back facing the stinky man. She felt embarrassed. Xingxiao stared at her back and could not help but ask, "Are you regretting it now?" "I think it's a little hot to the ears." Mu-Chi-Chi felt her face turn red when she thought of that scene. "I like it." With that, Xingxiao pulled her over and slept contentedly. The next day, the two of them picked up old Master Xin, and the three of them went to Luohai to attend the funeral. Old Master Lu's mourning hall was set up in his old house, and most of the people who came to pay their respects were his comrades. His family was not notified. This was because Shen Jianchuan had warned Elder Lu's three sons that they were not allowed to appear in Elder Lu's mourning hall. His ex-wife was also injured by the explosion, but she still did not learn her lesson. She was clamoring in the hospital that she wanted to come out and fight Shen Jianchuan. That old man had left so much inheritance. How could he just donate it away? Shen Jianchuan ignored all of them. She was already gone, yet she still wanted to suck his blood. How cold-hearted was she? Because there were not many comrades left in that generation, there were even fewer people who could come to pay their respects. Shen Jianchuan knew that those three unfilial disciples were nearby, but he was not in the mood to deal with the Lu family's bastards. He could not be bothered to waste his energy. When it was almost noon, Mu Chi-Chi and the other two arrived at the morning hole. When old Master Shin saw Elder Lu's portrait, he was so excited that his hands trembled and he almost lost control of his emotions. Mu Chi-Chi supported him, afraid that he would not be able to hold back and kneel down. Shin Jianchuan quickly supported his father and said to him, "Tomorrow morning, he will enter the garden mausoleum like a spark." Old Master Shin grabbed his son's wrist and nodded. "You've worked hard. Shao Qi, take care of Grandpa." Shin Jianchuan handed the old man back to Mu Chi-Chi. "You and eighth brother have also been considerate." "Dad, what are you talking about?" Mu Chi-Chi didn't like him being so polite. "I also feel very sorry that Grandpa Lu is gone. In the future, when the old man of the Song family leaves, I will lead a large group to sit in his morning hall and play gongs and drums. It will be lively for the whole day." Silly girl. How many days had it been since Shin Jianchuan last smiled? But he couldn't stand his daughter's teasing. "It's good that you're laughing. Dad, take care and rest." After paying their respects to the old man, Mu Chi-Chi helped Grandpa Shin to rest outside the morning hole. Xing Xiao lit an incense stick for the old man and stood beside Shin Jianchuan. "Eighth brother, you don't need it. Since he's the son-in-law of the Shin family, there's nothing wrong with that." Xing Xiao's words made Shin Jianchuan speechless. In the eyes of the people of Jianchuan, Xing Xiao was always a god high above. But for his little seven, he was just an ordinary husband, a man who was responsible for his family. "I hope you can understand the friendship of the Shin family." At that thought, Xing Xiao smiled faintly because he remembered the little one's nosy personality. That seemed to be the strength of her genes. It was also because of Xing Xiao's presence that the few people outside the door who were watching covetously became even more afraid of entering the morning hall. Old Master Shin sat on the steps outside the morning hall and calmed himself down. Seeing that his son and grandson-in-law were so sensible, he could not help but sigh. "I'll lend them to old Lu. He has a son to send off. Grandpa Lu will definitely feel gratified if he knows in the afterlife." Actually, Mu Chi-Chi did not expect Xing Xiao to take the initiative to do such a thing. From afar, Xing Xiao looked even more warm and responsible than the invincible god he was usually. In the past, Xing Xiao never cared about the family. He did whatever he liked. However, now that he was going to be a father, he seemed to be more willing to integrate into the entire family and bear his own responsibilities. Eighth brother is really a mature man. Old Master Shen was extremely gratified after seeing this. Mu Chi-Chi nodded. Just as she was about to help her grandfather up, old Lu's ex-wife walked toward the morning hall aggressively with more than 10 people. Shin Jianchuan saw them from afar and immediately said to Xing Xiao, "Protect Shao Qi." Xing Xiao quickly walked to Mu Chi-Chi's side and protected the old and the young behind him. Outside the door, Su Che was also there. "It just so happens that all of the Shin family is here. I can't be bothered to go to Jianchuan to look for you. I don't want to cause trouble today, but I want the Shin family to give me justice. My husband is dead. Who should inherit his inheritance? If you don't give me an explanation today, no one can leave this place." Old Master Lu's ex-wife was also close to 70 years old. Her figure was already seriously out of shape. She was just an old lady now, but she still liked to fight and rob. In this life, she had never let her husband go for a day. "I've already donated all of Uncle Lu's money according to his last wishes. It's a legal and fair document. Uncle Lu signed it in black and white. If you still have any doubts, you can sue me. But this is Uncle Lu's morning hole. If you still have a conscience, let him go in peace." Shin Jianchuan stood in front of the old lady. The old lady sneered. Her eyes were full of resentment. I've been with him for a lifetime and gave birth to 3 sons for him. But in the end, I didn't get anything. Let him go in peace. Who's pitying me? He's already gone. No matter how much resentment you have, it should disappear. Shen Jianchuan frowned and retorted. Vanish into thin air. You make it sound so simple. The old lady sneered. What's the big deal about dying? The most painful thing for a person is to live a life worse than death. He died cleanly. He was burned and there's nothing left. But what about me? There are 3 unfilial sons outside. They ask for money every day. Who's going to raise the 3 grandsons at home? I do hate him. I hate him the most in my life. But I really didn't expect him to leave like this. The old lady suddenly clutched her chest and cried, We've been enemies for a lifetime. Even in death, you still want to torture me. Why don't you take me away, you damn old man? Mu Chi-Chi could hear that the old lady's feelings for Grandpa Lu were extremely complicated. There was extreme hatred, but there was also unwavering love. Without you, how can I survive? The old lady squatted on the ground and cried. Get up and fight with me again. We haven't even settled the score in this life. What right do you have to bring it to the next life? Chapter 9:25. Seeing her heartbroken look, Mu Chi-Chi was really afraid that she would take things too hard. However, the old lady was obviously stronger than Grandpa Lu. After crying enough, she stood up and wiped her tears. I'm not as heartless as you. You don't even leave a single cent for your descendants. I'm also not willing to die with you because I still have grandchildren to support. Today, I've come to send you off. In the next life, let's not meet again. I've really been blind to marry you in this life. Things did not develop as the Shen family had expected. For some reason, Mu Chi-Chi suddenly admired the old lady. Especially when she saw her stumbling away, she didn't know why, but she felt a little sad. Perhaps old Master Shen could not bear to do it. In the end, he turned around and asked Shen Jianchuan, Did you really donate it all? As for this house, I haven't had the time to set up a mourning hall. Give it to the old lady. It's a memento for her. More than 10 people came in a grandiose manner, and then turned around in a grandiose manner. They were all members of the old madam's family. They offered a stick of incense, bowed, and left in a hurry. It turned out that there was such an existence of love. Mu Chi-Chi secretly tightened her grip on Xing Zhao's hand. She would feel terrible even if they had a cold war for half an hour, let alone a quarrel. She certainly could not bear to be angry at him. For the entire day, the 3 sons of the Lu family did not dare to enter. It was not until late at night that old Master Shen and Shen Jianchuan stayed in the mourning hall to mourn for Elder Lu's last night. The 3 of them walked to the entrance of the mourning hall and knelt down. Uncle Shen, please, let us send Dad on his last journey. We were really wrong. Because Mu Chi-Chi was pregnant, she had to go back to the hotel to rest under Xing Zhao's care, so she missed the part where the Lu family's son admitted his mistake. That old lady today touched me a lot. While they were showering, Mu Chi-Chi lay on Xing Zhao's back and said, Why do some people end up hating each other as they fall in love? Why can't we love each other when we know that we can't be apart for the rest of our lives? Xing Zhao turned and glanced briefly at Mu Chi-Chi, before drying them and carrying her to bed. Are you afraid that we'll become a resentful couple? Mu Chi-Chi shook her head. We will never become like that, because I know that we love each other without reservation. I can't bear to make you angry, and you can't bear to make me sad. Since you already know, why are you still so emotional? Maybe, it's because I'm going to be a mother soon. But I really admire that old lady. If it were me, I definitely wouldn't be able to live alone without you. I'm more selfish than she is. After Xing Xiao heard that, he pinched her chin and said, "That's a long way. You have to stay with me until I'm 70 or 80. Now that I think about it, Grandpa Lu isn't that miserable after all. At least he has Grandma Lu's love, and it seems to be a little warmer." Initially, he thought that he would have to go to war with the 3 sons of the Lu family on this trip to Luohai. He did not expect that the heavens would still favor the good. After sending off Old Master Lu, Old Master Shen and the others returned to Jianchuan in the afternoon. However, before that, Shen Jianchuan personally delivered the key to the old lady's house. The 3 grandsons of the Lu family were now crying piteously for food. The 3 sons of the Lu family were useless, and the wife was also idle. It was no wonder that the old lady was so vicious. Sell the house and get a smaller suite. The rest of the money is enough for the few of you to live for a few years. Is this what the old man wants? The old lady held the key and felt a little uncomfortable. If you weren't so mean to him and you could communicate properly, the old man wouldn't have been so desperate that he took that step. After saying that, Shen Jianchuan walked out of the house. However, the old lady chased after him. I know that the old man's former enemies have come looking for him. He can't do anything about it. If the Song family is caught and I'm still around, find someone to bring the news to make me happy. That bastard will die a horrible death. I will. After Old Master Lu's funeral was settled, the family returned to Jianchuan. After returning home, Old Master Shen locked himself in the fish pond again. However, this time, Shen Jianchuan told Mu Chichi not to worry. Your grandfather will only think about how to bring down the Song family now. He won't take things too hard. Don't worry. Song Jiang will definitely get his retribution. Dad, believe me, Mu Chichi said as she grabbed Shen Jianchuan's arm. You've been tired for 2 days. Let's go home. 8th brother Xing is quite tired from taking care of you. Be more considerate of your husband. Okay. Mu Chichi nodded. She turned around and walked to the Shen family's door before returning to the banyan courtyard with Xing Xiao. The Lu family was gone. Now, the Song family's only enemy was the Shen family. She did not know what kind of move that bastard Song Jiang had in store for him to attack her. However, Mu Chichi was not afraid. Even if she was pregnant, she was still a brave pregnant woman. After thinking it through, Mu Chichi no longer hesitated. She went to the living room to share what had happened in Luohai with Mama Xing and Papa Xing. When she returned to her room, Xing Xiao was taking a bath alone in the bathtub. Mu Chichi quietly walked over and leaned against his bathtub. She asked him, "Are you tired? I have to deal with Huang Yao's matters later." "You sleep first." Xing Xiao opened his eyes and said to Mu Chichi. "Bring 3rd brother back to manage Huang Yao. You have a team anyway. You just need someone in charge. You're already tired enough dealing with Zhongting's matters. You still have to take care of me. Dad said that I'm not a good wife and that I've troubled you." Xing Xiao got up from the bathtub. Mu Chichi immediately handed him a towel and wrapped it around the man's narrow waist. "Why don't I manage Huang Yao for you?" Mu Chichi leaned forward and asked for his opinion. "Huang Yao isn't that short of people." Xing Xiao dragged her out of the bathroom. "Go to sleep. But, if you delay any longer, I'll only sleep even later." Mu Chichi did not dare to make a sound. She watched as he entered the study. She could not help him at all and even caused trouble every day. Therefore, Mu Chichi obediently went to bed to sleep. Xing Xiao saw her turn off the lights outside the door and slowly curled his lips. Although dealing with business was very tedious, sometimes he would take out the cufflinks she made and look at them. Sometimes he would take out the bookmarks she made and look at them. It was actually not that torturous. When did Xing Xiao become such a family-oriented person? This thing was really magical. However, on the third day after they returned to Jianchuan, old Madame Lu sent a letter. Old Master Lu's grave had been pried open and his ashes were scattered everywhere. When the old lady saw it, she went crazy. Was there a need to think about whose masterpiece this was? Chapter 926. Shen Jianchuan did not dare to tell the old man about this. He only sent someone to appease the old lady. Song Jiang would definitely pay 1,000 times the price for today's arrogance. When the old lady heard this, she endured the pain. Even if she had to endure it, she had to endure it until that day came. After settling the matters of the Lu family, Shen Jianchuan put on his glasses and leisurely went to Zhongting's building. Dad. When Xing Xiao saw him, he immediately asked his secretary to brew tea. There's no need to be so polite between father and son. Shen Jianchuan waved his hand and did not bother about trifles at all. I came here today to listen to your specific plan. Xing Xiao got up from his desk and walked to the leisure area of the office. He sat down in front of Shen Jianchuan, and in front of the two of them was a black and white Roman chessboard. To destroy the Song family, the first aspect is to make the Song family lose their financial support. In recent years, the Song family's main source of income has been the financial industry and the education industry. This is the biggest bargaining chip that allows Song Jiang to do whatever he wants and buy people's hearts, so, the Song family's money isn't as clean as it looks on the surface. Shen Jianchuan held his chin and thought. Take off the clean veil. Are you afraid that you won't be able to see what's underneath? Xing Xiao's voice was very calm, but he was confident of victory. You're the expert at making money. You have the final say on how to plan. What about the other side? Shen Jianchuan asked again as he played with the Roman chessboard in front of him. Dig up the old case from 25 years ago and expose the identity of the Song family. Since we want to take revenge for what happened 25 years ago, then we'll blow up the truth and expose him to the light. At that time, I don't believe that anyone would dare to openly collude with him. That's a secret. Shen Jianchuan looked at Xing Xiao. Are you sure you want to take such a risk? Everything has risks. The more arrogant Song Jiang is, the more flaws he will reveal. We just need to calm down and follow the plan step by step. Elder Lu's wife can be the best start for this matter. Elder Lu was dead. He was forced to die and was even retaliated against after his death. Indeed, the Song family could be brought out when a loyal soldier was treated like this. In the past few days, I've asked Zhongting's team to make a report on the education industry. I've selected a few education brands that are very worthy of support. I plan to secretly support them and deal a heavy blow to Yeshang Group. But it's not convenient for me to walk around for this matter. I understand what you mean. I can find someone to take care of this matter in private and slowly lay out the plan. Shen Jianchuan nodded. Yeshang Group is coming in aggressively and has indeed impacted the local education brand. Your method is right. As for the financial industry, the Song family does trust and supervision, and the team is abroad. But I've heard a lot of rumors about the Song family's financial situation. In less than 5 years, it will definitely collapse. Xing Xiao continued, so, cutting off the development of the Song family's education industry is equivalent to making the Song family's plane lose its left wing. How will the Song family make up for the loss of balance? Xing Xiao was setting up a big picture. He didn't want to make a small fuss, but he wanted to make sure that the Song family had no chance to make a comeback. This required everyone to be extremely patient, but once they succeeded, it would be the end of the Song clan. He could endure it. Shen Jianchuan knew Xing Zhao's temper very well. As his son-in-law, once he set his sights on an enemy, no matter how long it took, even if it took years, he could endure it. In the end, he would defeat the enemy with one strike. Then what do you think of Song Buji? This person doesn't like his father's style. He has no hatred for the Shen family, only the desire to conquer, Xing Xiao answered very concisely. He doesn't care about the methods used to do things. He's very talented in business and very patient. Then let's see who can endure more. Xiao Qi will soon be 4 months pregnant. You can decide for yourself whether you need to let her know about these things or not. Shen Jianchuan put the Roman chess piece back to its original position. Eighth brother, I know you're doing all this for Xiao Qi. The Shen family owes you a lot. She's my lifelong responsibility. Xing Xiao only had this answer. Although he was very patient, he did not want to waste a lot of time on his enemies, especially that scumbag from the Song family who was still coveting his qi. Therefore, he had to think of a foolproof way to get rid of the weeds at the roots. The late elder Lu was humiliated, and Song Jiang was in a good mood. Song Buji's attack instantly swept away Song Jiang's previous dissatisfaction with him. His son was still as ruthless as ever. Xing Kai was preparing for his marriage with Song Qiaoji. Although it wasn't a big deal, he still had to move and decorate the wedding house. Song Jiang was in a good mood and couldn't help but care about his godson and daughter's preparations. The news has been out for so long. Has the Xing family come to look for you? No. Xing Kai shook his head and answered. I'm no longer a member of the Xing family. Even if they look for me, I won't meet them. Ah Kai, Godfather believes in you, so you can meet them as you please in the future. Song Jiang smiled and patted Xing Kai's shoulder. After you and Qiaoji get married, you'll be my son-in-law. As a father, how can I not believe in my son? Thank you, Godfather. Hurry up and get married. I still have big things waiting for you to do. Song Jiang hinted at Xing Kai. Don't let me down. It's my honor to help Godfather. Speaking of doubts, Ah Kai, I have one now. Help me answer it. The Shen family must know that old Lu's ashes were scattered. Based on your understanding of Xing Xiao, what kind of counterattack do you think he will give? Song Jiang asked Xing Kai. No, it should be said that he was testing Xing Kai. Xing Kai thought for a moment and then replied, based on my understanding of Xing Xiao, he will remember this matter. Godfather, don't underestimate his patience. He must be thinking of a way to deal with us. Song Jiang nodded. Then how do you think he will deal with us? Godfather. I might not be able to predict or judge this. Song Jiang glanced at Xing Kai with a complicated expression. In the end, he sighed. All right then. We can only see as we go. This person is famous for being difficult to deal with. If you can help me take him down, Ah Kai, I can do anything for you. Let Xing Kai deal with Xing Xiao. Watch the brothers kill each other. Song Qiaoji stood at the side. She felt more and more disgusted with her father's face. I'll do my best. Xing Kai did not refuse because he had no other choice. Song Jiang wanted to see them fight. He wanted to see the reaction of the Xing family. He had no way to escape. You're really my good son. Soon, Xing Kai sent Song Jiang away. Song Qiaoji looked at Xing Kai worriedly. Why don't we run away? Chapter 927. Meeting each other again after a year of Elder Lu's matter, the two brothers' hearts were too complicated. However, since this was old Master Xing's wish, Xing Xiao would do it no matter what. Therefore, the two of them agreed to meet at the seaside. Xing Kai drove alone while Xing Xiao brought Su Che with him. The two brothers leaned against the car by the seaside and did not say a word for a long time. After a long while, Xing Xiao said, "Song Jiang is still monitoring you. Unless he hears the news of your death one day, he will never truly trust me from the bottom of his heart." Xing Kai tilted his head and lit a cigarette against the wind. "Tell me, why did you ask to meet me?" "It's not that I want to see you, it's the old man." "Then forget it." Xing Kai sneered and exhaled smoke from his nose. "It's too late to say anything. I was also involved in the Liu family's matter. I also had a part in forcing old man Liu to his death. My life is now linked to the Song family. Eighth brother, we'll meet on the battlefield in the future." Xing Xiao did not say anything, but he frowned. "Song Jiang asked me to deal with you, so I'll spare no effort. With your ability, you don't have to take my scheme seriously. Since there's nothing else, I'll leave first. You know that I'm going to get remarried." With that, Xing Kai threw away the cigarette butt and opened the door of his car again. After he got in, Xing Xiao asked, "Why are you doing this?" "You're extremely smart, CEO Xing. There's no way you can't guess what I'm doing this for. There's only one person in my life. I'll give everything to protect her." With that, Xing Kai closed the car door. Of course, Xing Xiao couldn't chase after him, so he returned to the car. However, from Xing Kai's words, he got some information. First of all, Song Jiang had asked Xing Kai to deal with the Xing family and him. Secondly, Xing Kai was really doing this for a woman, for Song Qiaoji. It seemed like they were going to fight each other in the future. No one knew when it started, but Jianchuan had become more and more complicated. Every day, a storm was brewing. Although Mu Qiqi didn't know Xing Xiao and her father's plan, nor did she know that Xing Kai had met Xing Kai, for some reason, she felt that Xing Xiao had become gloomier than before. Although he usually didn't talk much at home. When she was free, Mu Qiqi would play music at home for prenatal education. However, when she saw Xing Kai and Song Qiaoji's marriage, she couldn't help but take out her phone and look for the man in the study. "Is it okay to let them go just like that? Do you think you can stop it?" Xing Xiao asked as he looked at Mu Qiqi. "What if he tries to deal with you in the future?" This thing, her premonition was really accurate. She could even guess this kind of thing. "He can't deal with me," Xing Xiao answered without hesitation. Then, he pushed Mu Qiqi and said, "Focus on your prenatal education." Mu Qiqi got down from Xing Xiao's lap and revealed her slightly protruding belly. "You should say hello to your son too. I'll call again tonight." When Mu Qiqi heard that, she immediately felt that there was a double meaning in Xing Xiao's words. "I'm serious. I want you to talk to the child." "When have I not been serious?" Mu Qiqi was speechless. She left the study with her belly puffed out. It wasn't easy for this man to accompany her to rest for a day, but he only knew how to stay in the study and do his own things. "Baby, be good. Your father ignores you. I love you." Xing Xiao looked at her as she left and curled his lips. This thing. In the evening, Shin Jianchuan called. The best candidate to support the education industry had been found. In addition to the most professional planning team, the education industry would take on a new look in less than half a year. This was a chess move. The old lady of the Liu family should have arrived in Jianchuan by now. Xing Xiao would arrange a meeting at another time. Thinking of this, Xing Xiao put down the documents in his hand and got up to go to the living room. He saw Mu Qiqi sleeping on the sofa with music playing, revealing her slightly protruding belly. Xing Xiao sat down beside her, helped her pull down her skirt, and turned off the music. How could such a noisy song be called prenatal education? When Mama Xing came back from shopping, she immediately said to Xing Xiao, "Carry your wife back to your room. Don't show off your love in front of a middle-aged man like me. Xiao Qi, you're really lucky. When I was pregnant with you, I didn't have a good day. In this regard, you're better than your father." Xing Xiao looked a little smug, especially when he saw Mu Qiqi sleeping soundly. At the very least, after this thing was pregnant, he would dote on her. "However, I heard from a few friends outside that second brother is going to marry the young lady of the Song family. Is that true?" "Yes." Xing Xiao nodded lightly. "I don't know what he's thinking. No matter how much he hates his family, he shouldn't have done such a rebellious thing. Mom, I'll carry Qi back to my room first." Xing Xiao didn't want to talk about the Song family or Xing Kai at home. "Go. Be careful." Not long after nightfall, Jianchuan became much cooler because of the night breeze. Xing Kai drove back to his apartment from Changrong Electronics, but he saw Gu Xiling downstairs. She was blocking his door with an unclear expression on her face. Xing Kai didn't know what she meant. "Kai, I know you were forced to marry Song Qiaoji. You don't really like her, do you? Are you still dreaming now that things have come to this?" Xing Kai asked her directly. "I hope you know that we're already divorced. There's no point in continuing to pester her. But, no one wants me. Who wants me now?" "If you knew this would happen, why did you do it in the first place?" Xing Kai controlled his emotions and asked her again, "Gu Xiling, I hope you understand that everything has changed now. Your grandfather pushed me into this quagmire, and I can't get out. So, don't come looking for me again. I don't want to see you either." "Kai." Gu Xiling pulled him up. At that moment, Song Qiaoji walked out of the elevator. Seeing this, she was stunned. "Did I come back at the wrong time? Let's go home. After moving these, the apartment will be sold." Xing Kai quietly broke free from Gu Xiling's grip and whispered to Song Qiaoji. "Miss Gu, can you stop pestering my husband?" Song Qiaoji's tone was very rude to Gu Xiling. "Everyone has to look forward. You know what the Song family does. If you still want to live, don't come again. I can't guarantee that my temper will still be this good next time." With that, the two of them opened the door and entered the room. Gu Xiling leaned against the door and slid down. Her heart was filled with unwillingness, but she was afraid of death. Very afraid of death, she couldn't afford to pester the Song family, so she could only admit defeat. In the room, Xing Kai held Song Qiaoji's hand and said, "I'm sorry. I didn't know she would appear." Chapter 928. Xing Kai looked at Song Qiaoji's gentle face and felt as if he was truly alive. So, he suddenly hugged her tightly and said, "Why couldn't I have met you earlier? It's not too late to meet you now." Song Qiaoji comforted him. "Anyway, as long as we're both alive, we'll be together." Xing Kai nodded vigorously and hugged Song Qiaoji even tighter. The two of them packed up the apartment and prepared to move into their new home. Xing Kai knew very well that from now on, he would only fight for Song Qiaoji. This was his family, and there was someone he wanted to protect until he died. However, not long after the two of them returned home, Xing Kai received a call from Song Jiang. "Ah, Kai, I received news from Luo Hai that the old lady from the Lu family suddenly disappeared. She was taken away by the Shin family. I don't want to cause any trouble. Help Godfather think of a way to get rid of that old lady. Make it clean. What kind of trouble can an old lady cause? You do it. I have my reasons." Song Jiang was very dissatisfied with Xing Kai's question. "Wait for my news. I'll give you 3 days." "Ah, Kai, give me an answer. Song Jiang wasn't someone who was easy to fool. How long would he have to wait for an answer? When would the Shen family make a move? Therefore, he directly gave Xing Kai a time limit. 3 days. Xing Kai had no choice. His voice was almost choked with sobs. Okay, I understand. Song Qiaoji was by his side and listened to the entire conversation between him and Song Jiang. This was Song Jiang, forcing people to their deaths. He wants you to kill someone. Song Qiaoji held Xing Kai's face and said, you can't do this. Let me do it. Why would a woman want to kill someone? Be obedient. I'll take care of things. Xing Kai's eyes were red. This is snatching someone from Xing Xiao. I'm confident. Don't worry. Ah Kai. Song Qiaoji said with a sobbing tone. No, I really don't. I don't want you to fall deeper and deeper. But I'm a man. I have to protect you. With that, Xing Kai kissed Song Qiaoji's lips. You said just now that as long as we live, we'll be together. Song Qiaoji felt her heart ache. Her previous fiancé had disappeared in front of her eyes just like that. She did not want Xing Kai to follow in his footsteps. She did not want him to. She was going crazy. The two of them tore at each other's clothes and felt each other's existence fiercely. It was not until Song Qiaoji fainted that Xing Kai hugged her and fell asleep. Every time Song Jiang gave him a mission, it was as if he was sentenced to death. He didn't know if he could survive one trial after another, so he could only try his best to give Song Qiaoji happiness while he was still alive. The next morning, when Song Qiaoji woke up, Xing Kai had already gone to Luohai. Song Qiaoji didn't know why he wanted to go to Luohai, but she thought about it for a long time in their new house before making such a decision. She was going to look for Mu Qiqi. Because traveling during the day would attract too much attention, Song Qiaoji waited until late at night before sneaking to the previous hospital. She found Feng Shanshan's phone number from the medical records. She called Feng Shanshan. Mu Qiqi received a call from Feng Shanshan late at night. She thought that something had happened to Feng Shanshan and the child, so she sat up from the bed and said anxiously, "What happened?" "I'm fine. It's not me. It's someone you wouldn't expect. She's with me now and wants to see you. She wants to see if you're willing." "Who?" Mu Qiqi really couldn't think of anyone who would look for her through Feng Shanshan. "Song Qiaoji," she said, "she's here for Xing Kai's matter. She wants to see you. She almost knelt down for me just now." Mu Qiqi glanced at the man beside her and said, "What did she say she's here for?" "I'm not very sure about the old lady of the Lu family." Xing Xiao understood what Song Qiaoji was trying to say, so he said to Mu Qiqi, "I'll go down to see her. I'll go with you. Don't try to hide it from me. Besides, Song Qiaoji is here for me." Mu Qiqi quickly grabbed the man's arm and said, "I'm not afraid of any tricks. You and Captain Tang are here." Xing Xiao took a deep breath, then took some clothes from the clothes rack and handed them to Mu Qiqi. It only took the two of them about 10 minutes to reach Feng Shanshan's house from the banyan courtyard. In the living room, Song Qiaoji was wearing black sportswear and a hat, as if to deceive others. When she saw Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao, she immediately rushed over. "I beg you, CEO Xing, I beg you, save Ao Kai. Get up first." "What happened?" Mu Qiqi was confused. She knew that Xing Kai had become the Song family's son-in-law, but she didn't understand Song Qiaoji's actions. Song Qiaoji's tears fell like rain. It took her a lot of effort to control her emotions. She sat back on the sofa and said in a choked voice, "Last night, my father called Xing Kai and asked Ao Kai to deal with the old lady of the Lu family. He received news that the old lady had left Luo Hai. He didn't want to cause any more trouble, so he asked Kai to deal with it and make the old lady disappear forever. I don't want Kai to be stained with blood. He really doesn't want to, but if he doesn't do this, my father will definitely think of a way to make him disappear. So, I can only beg you. Mu Qiqi didn't know that old Madame Lu had come to Jianchuan, but Xing Xiao did. However, Song Jiang had actually asked Xing Kai to deal with the aftermath of this matter. It was his negligence. Kai didn't voluntarily join my father. He was pushed down by Gu Ziling's grandfather. He originally had a chance to leave my father, but I was the one who dragged him down. That's why he rejected CEO Xing's help. CEO Xing, I beg you, please help Kai. He only has 3 days. Song Qiaoji was crying a mess. She was on the verge of breaking down. There are only 2 days left. He went to Luo Hai early this morning and there's still no news of him. After Xing Xiao heard this, he gestured for Mu Qiqi to calm Song Qiaoji down. Then, he took out his phone and called Su Che. Do something for me immediately. CEO, go ahead. On the other end of the line, Su Che was trying his best to sober up. Xing Kai went to Luo Hai. He probably wants to kidnap a few sons of the Lu family to threaten the old lady. Take Xing Kai down and bring him back to Jianchuan. You don't have to give him any reason. I'll leave immediately after I pack up, Su Che answered Xing Xiao over the phone. After hanging up, Xing Xiao looked down at Song Qiaoji. He stayed in the Song family for you. What about you? Can you abandon the Song family for her? I stayed in the Song family not because of blood relations. I just want to find evidence of the father and son's crimes. Song Qiaoji raised her teary eyes and answered. I'm Song Jiang's daughter. I'm someone who can get close to the evidence. Chapter 929. Song Qiaoji buried her head between her knees and cried out loud. It was as if the pain of losing her fiancé had engulfed her entire body again. As long as you can get Kai away from my father, CEO Xing, I'll cooperate with whatever arrangements you make. I really can't take it anymore. I don't want him to suffer anymore. The Song family isn't a place for people to stay. Please, Mu Qiqi looked at the woman's emotional breakdown. She believed that Song Qiaoji really cared about Xing Kai. That was why she took the risk for him and went straight to the enemy. If you really want Xing Kai to be well, then don't go back to the Song family. Otherwise, he'll go back sooner or later. Mu Qiqi's heart ached a little. You can still return to the right path. Can we really? Can we still? Mu Qiqi raised her head and looked at her man. If the Xing family brazenly kidnapped Xing Kai this time, it would be equivalent to officially declaring war on the Song family. As long as Xing Kai's stand was firm, the Song family would not be able to control him. If you still want him to live well, leaving the Song family is the only way. As long as you're not in the Song family's territory, as long as you're still in Jianchuan, I can guarantee your safety. I don't care about anything now. I just want Kai to be safe. To hell with the evidence and blood ties. Whether it was treason or betrayal, she only wanted Xing Kai now. Before Su Che finds Xing Kai, go back first. Don't reveal any flaws. Otherwise, if Song Jiang notices, he'll be on guard. When Su Che finds Xing Kai, I'll send someone to pick you up as soon as possible. Xing Xiao instructed Song Qiaoji seriously. You have to be patient tonight. Stop crying. I want to cry too. Mu Qiqi was extremely touched. She thought about how Gu Ziling often humiliated Xing Kai and pointed fingers at him. Compared to Song Xiaoji, she finally understood why Xingkai was willing to stay in the Song family. They truly loved each other. For Kai's sake, I'll definitely be patient. I'll wait for your news. After saying this, Song Xiaoji put on her hat again and wiped away her tears. I'll go back first. I've been out for too long. In the living room, the two pregnant women looked at each other. At this moment, Feng Shanshan raised her question. That kidnapping was to help me, right? Yes, but I didn't know that middle-aged woman was a human trafficker. It's okay. That's enough. Feng Shanshan smiled. Go back and wait for the news. Song Xiaoji nodded at them, turned around, and left in a hurry. Mu Qiqi looked at her back as she left and sighed. She and Xingkai are true friends in times of adversity. I can feel that she loves Xingkai very much. That kind of heart-wrenching love is not something that can be acted out. I hope the results are good, Feng Shanshan said as she touched her 6-month-old abdomen. After all, Song Xiaoji had saved her life. Master Xiao, let's go back. Tell me what happened to the old lady of the Liu family. Xing Xiao looked down at Mu Qiqi. Seeing that she was still in her pajamas, he immediately picked her up. Rest first. Do you think I can sleep tonight? Mu Qiqi struggled in his arms. Thinking about your second brother, his life is really full of troubles. However, after this training, I believe that he will definitely be able to change his appearance in the future. With a woman who loves him like this, he will definitely become better. At this moment, Xing Xiao only wanted to sew up this thing's chattering mouth with a needle. He only hoped that Su Che would do his best as soon as possible. By the time Song Xiaoji returned home, it was already 11 o'clock at night. After entering the living room, Song Xiaoji took off her hat and turned on the lights. She saw her brother, Song Buji, sitting on the sofa with a profound look on his face. Brother. When did you come? You scared me. She tried her best to remain calm. Song Buji looked at her outfit with a mocking smile. It's so late. Where did you go? Don't tell me you went for a night run. Ah, Kai isn't here. I feel a little bored, so I went out for a walk. Song Xiaoji sat down beside Song Buji. Why? Can't I? Do you think father will believe me if I tell him the same thing? Song Buji asked as he played with his chin. Song Xiaoji's expression immediately changed. She slid down from the sofa and knelt in front of Song Buji. Brother, can you not tell father? So, you admit that you didn't go for a walk. I went to the Xing family for help, but they didn't want to see me, Song Xiaoji said half-truthfully. I know that you have a deep hatred for the Xing family, just like father. I don't beg you to let me go, but I beg you to let Akai go. After saying that, Song Xiaoji climbed to the coffee table, picked up the fruit knife, and placed it on her neck. I can die for him. What are you nervous about? Song Buji said lightly. I'm not interested in your life, and I'm not interested in Xingkai's life either. In your heart, am I someone who will tell on you at any time? Song Xiaoji did not dare to relax. Her tears slid down the fruit knife. I won't make things difficult for you, but don't make things difficult for me either. Go and apologize to father tomorrow. I believe he won't do anything to you. She might as well die now. Song Xiaoji thought, but she couldn't let go of Xingkai. All right, put down the dangerous thing. I promise you that I won't tell father. It's just for love. I understand. No matter how Song Buji tried to persuade her, Song Xiaoji refused to put down the fruit knife in her hand. When Song Buji saw this, he rolled his eyes. In your heart, I'm such a heartless person. Why are you going to the Xing family? You're a member of the Song family. How can the Xing family see you? Be good, put down the knife. Brother, don't force me. Not only did Song Qiaoji not relax, but she also pressed the knife closer to her neck. It looks like you're going to die today. Fine, I'll go. I'll go, okay. Song Buji got up from the sofa and raised his hands in surrender. Your personality is really like mine. Why else would you say that we're siblings? Song Qiaoji sneered. This person had never acknowledged her identity, so she would not lose her mind just because of Song Buji's words. She was very clear-headed. However, Song Buji really did not take the next step. He directly left her and Xing Kai's new house. However, from the way Song Buji casually entered, it could be seen that even if it was her and Xing Kai's house, there was no room for them to speak here. Therefore, even after Song Buji left, she did not put down the fruit knife. She did not dare. She was afraid that once she relaxed, she would be doomed. Young master, do we need to tell Mr. Song about this? The driver asked Song Buji. Chapter 930. Xing Kai really wanted to use the three sons of the Lu family to force the old lady of the Lu family to submit. But after following them for a day, he found that the second and third sons were working in different places to earn money. Could it be that he had really turned over a new leaf? The third son of the Lu family had lost one of his hands when he was flirting with a girl, so he could not resist. So, he was Xing Kai's target. However, after following her for a day, the kindness on her face touched his heart, but he had no other choice. In the middle of the night, he found two helpers and found out where third young Master Lu lived. It was a shabby rental house, which was easy to rob. After all, he only had 3 days. After kidnapping her, he still had to make a deal with Xing Xiao and meet the old lady of the Lu family. However, when he entered the apartment, he heard a child crying. After the three of them turned over a new leaf, they brought their children home to be raised. Therefore, there was still a crying child waiting to be fed in third young Master Lu's home. Seeing this, Xing Kai could only keep smoking to ease the guilt in his heart. The third son of the Lu family came out of the restaurant at 11 o'clock in the evening. When he got home, it was 11:30. However, before he could open the door, he was stopped by 2 men. You! What are you doing? Third young Master Lu looked at the 2 of them and asked nervously. You! Do you want money? I'll give it all to you. With that, he took out the money he earned today from his trouser pocket. That's all. Please, I'm a disabled person, I don't have much money. This was the first time Xing Kai was really involved in a crime case. So, he could only smoke to relieve the depression in his heart. They were here to take the hostage, but Xing Kai did not give them any orders. The 2 helpers turned around in confusion and asked in a low voice, should we tie them up? Please, I still have a child at home to raise. If I'm kidnapped, no one will take care of my child. Third young Master Lu knelt down in front of the 3 of them. This third young Master Lu, who lived off his parents, was a world of difference. Xing Kai still did not say anything. After taking the last puff of his cigarette, he extinguished it and said, let him go. The 2 helpers were ready to take action, but they received such an order from Xing Kai. The 2 of them frowned in confusion. Let him go. Xing Kai couldn't do it. He couldn't trade other people's lives for his own safety. He could only go back and let Song Jiang deal with him. There was no other way. When third young Master Lu saw this, he quickly stood up and was about to run away. However, the masked man suddenly appeared and knocked Xing Kai unconscious. He carried him on his shoulder and said to the 2 hired men, you're not needed here. Go. Their sugar daddy was already tied up. What was the point of keeping him around? The two helpers dropped the rope and ran. As for the young master of the Liu family, he was sitting on the steps in shock. Su Che glanced at him and said indifferently, "Go back. It's best if you move." The young master of the Liu family immediately got up, ran back to his rented house, and locked the door. Su Che carried the man and got into the car. He immediately replied to Xing Xiao that they had been intercepted. In fact, he had been watching the show from the side for a while. He bet that Xing Kai couldn't do it. Sure enough, it was just as he expected. A member of the Xing family was a member of the Xing family. Unlike the Song family who were born with the genes of crime, Xing Kai did not want to kill at all. Then, he tied Xing Kai up, got into the car, and drove back to Jianchuan overnight. When Xing Xiao received the news, he immediately arranged for someone to pick up Song Qiaoji. Song Qiaoji was in a state of shock all day. The fruit knife stained with her blood was always by her side. She knew very well that if Song Jiang didn't let her leave, she would end her life here. She definitely wouldn't become a stumbling block to Xing Kai's departure. Before she made a big mistake, she wanted to save Xing Kai. She couldn't let Xing Kai do anything stupid for her. However, she didn't see Song Jiang that day. She thought that Song Buji would definitely tell on her when he returned, but she didn't expect him to really let her live. In the middle of the night, Song Qiaoji was still sitting on the sofa when the phone screen beside her suddenly lit up. She immediately opened it and saw that Feng Shanshan had sent her a text message. "The car that will pick you up has already set off. Pack your things and we'll take you away in 20 minutes. At that moment, Song Qiaoji almost cried because this meant that Xing Xiao had stopped Xing Kai from making a mistake. Even if she died immediately, she would feel that it was worth it. Thinking of this, she didn't feel that she had anything else worth taking away, so she immediately set off and left the new house. Everything went smoothly, but the car was stopped by Song Jiang at the door before it could leave the parking lot. Song Jiang brought two subordinates and opened Song Qiaoji's car door. He said to her, "Miss, please." Song Qiaoji held the steering wheel and didn't move because there was a fruit knife beside her. She was thinking about whether she should make a move, but once she did, she would never be able to go back. Song Jiang saw his daughter's complicated expression and quickly said, "Qiaoji, what are you doing?" "Dad, please let me go." Song Qiaoji sat in the car and cried. "Let me leave. You're a member of the Song family. Where do you want to go?" "To find Xing Kai." Song Jiang frowned and pointed at her. "Let me tell you, even if you die, your corpse will belong to the Song family. It has nothing to do with the Xing family. I'm guessing you've been waiting downstairs. You installed a surveillance camera in my and Akai's new house." Song Qiaoji sneered. "I'm doing it for your own good." "For my own good." Song Qiaoji laughed mournfully. Then, she grabbed the fruit knife on the passenger seat and stabbed it at the hands of the two men. Seeing that the two men had stopped, she immediately closed the car door and reversed the car to escape. "Chase after her." Song Jiang's face was gloomy, and his tone was fierce. He had actually been betrayed by his own daughter. Song Qiaoji had actually dared to betray him. Song Qiaoji drove frantically toward the other exit, but Song Jiang had already sent people to intercept her. When Song Qiaoji saw this, her heart had already died. She rushed forward without a care and crashed into the body of a black car. "Capture her for me." Song Jiang was so angry that he was confused. Now that he had caught her, he had to put righteousness before family and break this woman's neck. However, just as the two men were about to pull Song Qiaoji out of the car, Xing Zhao's men arrived. 7 or 8 strong men got out of the two cars. They surrounded Song Qiaoji's car and said to Song Jiang, who was standing at the side, "This is the person we want. This is my daughter. But your daughter doesn't want to go with you." The man in the suit asked someone to help Song Qiaoji out of the car and put her in his car. When Song Jiang saw this, his expression turned extremely ugly. Chapter 931. The Law. Aren't you the law yourself? With that, the 7 or 8 men returned to the car and took Song Qiaoji away in front of Song Jiang. Song Jiang was flustered and exasperated when he saw this. He had never thought that Song Qiaoji would dare to betray him. She would betray her biological father for a man. It's okay. There's still a long way to go. Sooner or later, I'll deal with that adulterous couple. How dare they betray me? Because of the car crash, Song Qiaoji was half awake. She looked at the person beside her and saw that it wasn't Song Jiang's people. She finally relaxed her tense nerves and fainted. Did this count as an escape? Did she? On the other side, Su Che was driving Xing Kai back to Jianchuan. However, halfway through, Xing Kai opened his eyes. Seeing that his hands and feet were tied up, he quickly said, "Xing Xiao asked you to come. Let me go. Since you can't do such a ruthless thing, why must you stay by Song Jiang's side?" Su Che asked Xing Kai. "Don't waste your energy. The president has instructed me to send you directly back to Jianchuan and the Xing family." When Xing Kai heard this, he immediately thought of Song Qiaoji. "No, I have to go save someone, don't waste your energy. I won't let you go." With that, Su Che sped up. Because it was not convenient to go to the hospital, Xing Xiao temporarily settled Song Qiaoji at Tang Yan's house. Before dawn, he found a family doctor to check on her body. Although she had crashed into the car, it was not a big deal. It was just that because she had been nervous for a day and night, Song Qiaoji slept very soundly. The next morning, Mu Qiqi went down to see her. Seeing that she was still asleep, she did not disturb her. However, when she saw the obvious scratches on her neck, she suddenly felt her determination. She's a ruthless person. When Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan saw the direction of her wound, they knew that it was caused by herself. Thinking about it, she had also experienced a lot of mental pressure and trauma during the past day and night. I don't know if Su Che will be able to successfully bring them here. Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi sat by the bed and chatted when they saw Song Qiaoji suddenly sit up on the bed and call Xing Kai's name. "You're safe. Xing Kai is on his way back. Don't worry." Mu Qiqi immediately grabbed Song Qiaoji's hand and comforted her. "Don't be afraid." After hearing Mu Qiqi's words, Song Qiaoji was in a daze. It took her a long time to react before she hugged her knees and started crying. "I thought I would die there. I held the fruit knife and didn't dare to put it down for a moment. Don't go back to the Song family in the future. Stay in the Xing family. This is your new beginning." However, Song Qiaoji wasn't that optimistic. She looked at Mu Qiqi with tears in her eyes and asked, "Is your family really willing to accept me? I am the daughter of the Song family. I am the daughter of my enemy. You underestimate the Xin family and the Xing family. As long as you are sincere about Xing Kai, no one will care about your background." Mu Qiqi blinked at her. "Even a rebellious person like me, who has a seniority gap with Xiao Xiao, is together with him. What are you guys doing?" "Really?" Hope appeared in Song Qiaoji's eyes. "I don't want anything. I just want to be with All Kai. Go back to sleep. When you wake up, I promise that Xing Kai will have returned to your side." Mu Qiqi helped her lie down. "You don't look good right now." Song Qiaoji lay down obediently and closed her eyes. There were still sparkling tears on her long eyelashes. Then, the two of them left the room. Feng Shanshan looked at Mu Qiqi and leaned against her arm. Do you really believe that she won't hurt the Xing family for the Song family? I believe that the Song family doesn't have the heart to tolerate others, but the Xing family does, Mu Qiqi answered straightforwardly. Aren't you afraid that this is a trap set by Song Jiang? When the time comes, Song Qiaoji and Xing Kai will betray you together. What are you afraid of? Mu Qiqi asked Feng Shanshan in return. If they betray the Xing family, then they will no longer have a place to hide in this life, and they will never be able to live a peaceful and happy life again. If they are willing to bet their entire life's happiness, what can't we afford to lose? Besides, even if they betray us, it won't hurt our hearts. At most, old Master Xing will feel worse. Mu Qiqi shrugged indifferently. More importantly, I believe that Xiao Xiao has better arrangements. The last sentence is the reason why you're at ease, right? Feng Shanshan couldn't help but despise her. This person was showing off her love more and more without regard for the occasion. It's good that you know. The two pregnant women laughed. Mu Qiqi finished breakfast at Feng Shanshan's house. She had thought that it would take some time for Su Che to bring Xing Kai over. However, just as the sky brightened, Su Che had already driven the car outside the villa. Then, with Tang Yan's help, the two of them brought Xing Kai into the living room and let him sit on the sofa. Because Xing Xiao was not around, Tang Yan, who did not go out, became the one to guide him. You should go home. I'm going to save her. You don't understand how important she is to me. Xing Kai struggled. The skin on his wrist was already broken. If you bring Song Qiaoji over, will you be willing to leave the Song family? Tang Yan put down his teacup and asked him. Wherever she is, I'll be there. In other words, if Song Qiaoji was unwilling to leave the Song family, then he would continue to stay in the Song family to protect her. I don't want to leave her alone. Song Jiang could take her life at any time. I can't sit back and do nothing. You're stubborn. Tang Yan looked at Xing Kai coldly. You probably don't want to live anymore, maybe. I also think I'm crazy. In fact, Song Qiaoji had been at the door the whole time. She had been listening to the conversation between Xing Kai and Tang Yan. After hearing it, she burst into tears. Perhaps hearing the sound, Xing Kai turned his head and saw a familiar figure through the crack in the door. He stood up excitedly, but because his hands and feet were tied, he really couldn't go over. When Tang Yan saw this, he untied the rope on Xing Kai's body. Then, he saw a figure running in. Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan also walked out of another room with their arms crossed. I didn't expect you to do such a thing. Because Tang Yan was used to being alone in the past, he was not very sociable and did not seem to have the concept of family and friends. However, after Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi had been together for a long time, Tang Yan gradually gained human warmth. Everyone has the beauty of helping others, Tang Yan replied as he placed the rope on the table. All right, it's time to go to work. Feng Shanshan adjusted his collar and said, you don't have to worry about this. Su Che is outside protecting you. Nothing will happen. Okay. Tang Yan took the opportunity to kiss Feng Shanshan's forehead before leaving the house. Chapter 932. In the room, Song Qiaoji was already in tears. She instantly threw herself into Xing Kai's arms. You're still alive, I'm fine. I'm fine. Xing Kai hugged Song Qiaoji tightly. I thought I'd never see you again. I even thought about going back to the Song family to kneel down and save you. Even if I die, I'll die with you. Ah Kai, I was wrong. Song Xiaoji broke free from his arms and looked at him with tears in her eyes. I was too selfish. I shouldn't have left you in the Song family. We should have asked for help earlier. That way, Song Jiang wouldn't have forced you to kill people. I was wrong. Xing Kai hugged her and sat on the bed, wiping away her tears. I don't regret it. I said that I would protect you like a man. I don't want to. I want you to live. I want you to live well. Song Xiaoji interrupted him and reached out to hold his face. She instantly kissed him. I love you, Ah Kai. The two of them kissed and hugged each other. After a while, they reluctantly let go of each other. Let me take a good look at you. Why would Godfather let you go? Xing Kai saw the wound on Song Xiaoji's neck. Did they do it? Did they? It was me. Song Xiaoji quickly shook her head. It was Xing Xiao who helped me escape. The next day after you left, I went to ask for help. I begged Mu Chi and the others to save you. I could do anything. Why are you so stupid? Xing Kai's eyes were red. Can you live with me in the Xing family from now on? I know it must be hard for you to forget your fiancé's hatred, but I really don't want you to go back and take risks. Let's start over. Don't worry about hatred anymore, okay? Song Xiaoji nodded with tears in her eyes and hugged Xing Kai again. I'll listen to you. I don't care about anything else. I just want you to live. The two of them confided in each other in the room. The two women outside the door sighed repeatedly. They really didn't expect Xing Kai to fall in love. How good was that? Song Jiang had to commit evil. Let's go. Make some space for the two of us. It'll be easier. Mu Chi held Feng Shanshan's hand and said, let's have some tea in the garden. I'll also go and visit Su Che. He went on a mission in the middle of the night and hasn't slept yet. Feng Shanshan also looked at Mu Chi with an ambiguous smile. Hearing the sound of the door closing, Xing Kai hugged Song Xiaoji again and kissed her hard. I feel like I'm dreaming. I really never thought that one day, you would be willing to leave the Song family with me and return to the Xing family to live. Silly, you let me know that people have to look forward. I'm willing to be with you. I'm Song Xiaoji, I Changhua Chang Xing, Xing Xiao Xing, and Chang, he said, Xing, he Xiao, and Ken Xiaohua, Song Su. Xiao said. Song Xiaoji felt as if her soul had left her body, but she also knew that she was at Tang Yan's house. She immediately felt a little embarrassed. Ah Kai, why don't you wait for us to get home? I can't wait any longer. After saying that, Xing Kai's hand had already reached into her pants and touched the cotton underwear. The two of them frantically demanded each other in the room, as if they wanted to swallow each other whole. Mu Chi and Feng Shanshan drank tea outside the door. It was not convenient for them to enter the living room that day. Song Jiang was furious that his daughter and son-in-law had run away. He really did not expect Song Xiaoji to have such courage. She seemed to have forgotten that the blood of the Song family flowed in her body. Song Buji sat at the side, expressionless. For a moment, he felt that Song Xiaoji had the guts to actually do something like betrayal. All right, old man, you forced Xing Kai into a corner in this matter. After that, you didn't control Song Xiaoji well. It's no wonder that others want to rebel. You directly asked Xing Kai to kill people. How could he be willing? You still think he's your son-in-law? No one would treat their son-in-law like this. You're still making sarcastic remarks. You already knew that your sister had the intention to betray us. Why didn't you say anything? Song Jiang slammed the table angrily. Great. That B***-starred couple has escaped to the Xing family. They're in Xing Zhao's territory. What do you want me to do? They don't know much. Even if they did, they wouldn't be able to produce any evidence. What do you have to worry about? Song Buji asked impatiently. You forced them away. Now you're blaming me. This is too infuriating. I can't take this lying down. Song Jiang sat down on the chair. I can't let those two live. All right, old man. If you have the ability, go and find trouble with the Xing family. Don't forget, this is the Xing family's territory. If you want to touch the Xing family, Xing Xiao will be the first to object. Bear with it. There'll be a chance in the future. No. Song Jiang competed with himself. I'll think of a way to teach the B***-starred couple a lesson. Song Buji shrugged. Up to you. I have many daughters. Do you think that just because one of them left, it'll be a blow to me? Dream on. He didn't think in that direction at all because Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao wanted to help Xing Kai and Song Qiaoji, a couple of lovers. Who was thinking about their hatred? They really thought too highly of themselves. In the evening, the two of them, who had been together for the whole day, finally woke up from the bed in the room. Xing Kai got up first and prepared to go out to see what was going on. Today, he had indulged himself for the whole day and hadn't gone out yet. He wanted to properly greet Mu Qiqi and the others. Song Qiaoji propped herself up and was a little uneasy. Where are you going? I'm going to see eighth brother. You go back to sleep. Song Qiaoji nodded. The two brothers must have a lot to talk about, so she didn't want to disturb them. More importantly, she was afraid that the Xing family would have doubts and opinions about her. As if sensing her uneasiness, Xing Kai quickly comforted her. Don't think too much about it. Eighth brother and the others aren't like that. I know. Xing Kai nodded, packed his clothes, and walked out of the room. At that moment, he saw Xing Xiao sitting in the living room. In fact, Mu Qiqi and the others were still there just now. However, they were now barbecuing outside. Eighth brother, Xing Xiao leaned against the sofa, waiting for Xing Kai to come out and say a few words. Let's not talk about anything else. After dinner, we'll go straight back to the Xing family. Grandpa, will he still accept me? And Xiaoji. Why do you think there's blood relations in this world? Because only family can do it. No matter what you've done wrong, the door will be open to welcome you. The old man already knows. You should be prepared. After saying this, Xing Xiao got up from the sofa. Eighth brother, thank you. Chapter 933. Don't think about such nonsense in the future. Live a good life. With that, Xing Xiao walked out of the room. When Xing Kai heard this, he felt a lump in his throat. Some words were stuck in his heart, and he couldn't say them no matter what. The oven had been set up in the yard. Xing Kai opened the door and walked out. When he saw the scene, he felt even more uncomfortable. Although Mu Qiqi's feelings were a little complicated, she felt very gratified to see Xing Kai's awareness. She said, "Where's Dr. Song? She hasn't eaten anything all day, isn't she hungry?" Xing Xiao sat at the side and drank his coffee. He chatted with Tang Yen. Su Che had become a barbecue chef, and two pregnant women were fighting for meat beside him. How good would such a scene be? Xing Kai's heart surged. He immediately returned to his room and looked for his lover. Qiaoji, get up. Song Qiaoji crawled out of the blanket, feeling a little embarrassed. Isn't it a little embarrassing? Making a mess in someone else's house. It's okay. Xing Kai helped her put on her clothes and ruffled her hair. They won't mind. When we get back to the Xing family, we'll freshen up and rest. I know you've been frightened these 2 days. Song Qiaoji blushed as she put on her shoes and followed behind Xing Kai. As Mu Qiqi held the kebab, she looked at Song Qiaoji, who was behind Xing Kai. She thought to herself, this world is really strange. When I first met this doctor, why didn't I think that we would have such fate today? Are you too okay with eating barbecue? When Song Qiaoji saw this scene, her occupational disease immediately flared up. It's fine. These things have been processed by the nutritionist at home. It won't affect you much if you eat them occasionally. Mu Qiqi took a bite and did not forget to praise Fifth Aunt. You should be hungry too. After hearing this, Song Qiaoji's face turned even redder. You hang out with us and let the men cool off on the side. Knowing that she had a grudge, Mu Qiqi took the initiative to pull her away from Xing Kai. Song Qiaoji turned to look at Xing Kai, but he could only sit down pitifully beside Xing Xiao. Since I'm back, I'll completely forget about the Song family. Xing Xiao sipped his coffee as he glanced at the person beside him. He was the younger brother, but he was acting like an older brother. Even if I want to cooperate with Officer Tang, I don't have any evidence. Xing Kai crossed his arms and placed them on his legs. He looked a little unnatural. The higher-ups are in charge. I'm just a criminal police officer. Tang Yan answered calmly as he scrolled through his phone. There were all kinds of alcohol in front of the three of them, but because Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan were pregnant, Tang Yan and Xing Xiao did not touch them. When Xing Kai saw that, he opened a bottle of red wine. I need time to forget. Not far away, Song Qiaoji turned to look at the three men from time to time because she was afraid that Xing Xiao would interrogate Xing Kai. Seeing the tense atmosphere, she walked over and said, Don't ask him. I'm Song Zhang's daughter. I know more. As their daughter, you might not know as much as they do. Xing Kai pulled her to sit down beside him. I just don't want you to continue to be caught in a dilemma in this matter. You're thinking too much. They just want me to forget. I'm the one who can't get over it. It turned out that she had misunderstood. When Xing Kai saw this, he pushed her up again. Go eat something. We'll go to the Xing family later. Song Qiaoji nodded and returned to the middle of Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan. I told you. You don't have to worry, right? Mu Qiqi smiled and said, Second sister-in-law, you're a professional. You definitely know whether the child in Shanshan's stomach is a boy or a girl. Then, you can be a witness. I bet with Shanshan that the child in her stomach is a girl. Song Qiaoji was stunned for a moment. She was so choked up by the word, second sister-in-law, that she couldn't speak. In order not to let you lose, you'd better choose another gender. This time, it was Mu Qiqi's turn to be stunned. Ha ha ha, isn't that a boy? Captain Tang, you have a son. In fact, the reason why Mu Qiqi wanted to eat this barbecue was to ease Xing Kai and Song Qiaoji's nervousness. After going through such an urgent life-and-death ordeal, she had to meet the serious old man again. She was afraid that both sides would say something hurtful and irreparable. She was also giving old Xing some time to recover. After all, if he wanted his grandson to come home, he had to accept the daughter of the Song family. If he had a grudge in his heart, then there might be another tragedy in the future. It's good to have a son. In the future, he can protect his mother with me. Suddenly, Tang Yan, who was usually unsmiling, showed off his affection to the four of them. Are you sure it's not because you like a son more? Feng Shanshan narrowed her eyes and asked. Of course not. Mu Qiqi was unconvinced. She thought to herself that she had never let Song Qiaoji see her. Moreover, she had not been pregnant for long. She opened her mouth and asked the man who was drinking coffee, Master Xiao, "Do you like a son or a daughter?" "A daughter," Xing Xiao replied. "Reason?" "Have a male to compete for favor." Mu Qiqi immediately laughed. "You win." Xing Kai was also very embarrassed when the topic of childbirth was brought up. After all, he had been found out and might not be able to have children. Song Qiaoji saw through his thoughts. She walked to his side and whispered in his ear, "Don't worry, I have a way to cure you." Xing Kai nodded slightly. Xing Kai took the opportunity to look at his watch. Unknowingly, it was already 9:00 in the night. "It's getting late. It's time to go." Xing Kai held Song Qiaoji's hand and nodded. "I understand. Thank you for the past 2 days." Song Qiaoji and Xing Kai stood up and thanked them. "I hope that you can take care of us in the future. If second brother bullies you, call us." Mu Qiqi made a dialing gesture. "Okay." Song Qiaoji's eyes couldn't help but turn red again. "Su Che, send them back to the Xing family." After Xing Xiao enslaved Su Che, he instructed him to be his driver. "Don't worry, CEO." Su Che remained calm. The reason why he needed Su Che was because his skills were enough to ensure their safety. As for the Xing family and the old man, Xing Kai would have to face them himself. Mu Qiqi watched the two of them leave and returned to Xing Zhao's side to sit down. She thought that the Song family should be going crazy with anger, but it didn't matter. It was good that they were back. Xiao, I'm afraid these two have to be especially careful when they go out in the future. The Song family won't let them off so easily. We'll talk about it when the time comes, Xing Xiao said lightly. You should go home and sleep. Have you already planned it? Xing Xiao did not answer. He just carried her in his arms. On the other side, Xing Kai was very nervous, but he knew that if he showed any signs of panic, Song Qiaoji would not know what to do, so he held Song Qiaoji's hand tightly. Don't be afraid. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.